games, third of a 4-game series on Peacock Sunday leadoff. Star Spangled Sunday in Atlanta with Todd Zeal and Andrew Jones, Matt Vasgersian. Great to have you with us as NBC and Peacock has the entire Sunday slate. Ashley Shamady and Anthony Rizzo a little bit later on. And we're all pleased that Mother Nature has given us at least the dreaded window with which to start this game today, Todd.
The dreaded window, yes, that's one we all know and love, and hopefully this window lasts long enough for some good baseball. But I thought it might be a little later when we were looking at the forecast. I thought it might be a little later, so I'm glad to be going to 2:15.
Yes, we do. I mean, hey, it's Atlanta. It's thunderstorm pop up here and there.
So it's the third of 4 in this series, and it's been an all Atlanta affair to begin the weekend. 19 runs, 9 homers in taking the first 2 games of the series. And this was a Braves team that had dropped 14 of its previous 19 games at the start of play. Atlanta still holds the top spot in the NL East. They've been in that pole position essentially the entire first half of the season. And despite the very good month of June by the Phillies and the Marlins, Atlanta hanging on, and it's the Mets 17 games back with plenty of conversation toward the trade deadline in Flushing, Queens. It's the veteran left-hander Martin Perez, the 35-year-old, making his 17th, 18th start of the year here this afternoon. Between April and July, he had been designated for assignment, elected free agency. He was re-signed on a second minor league deal, back and forth between the rotation and the bullpen. And through it all, Andrew, he has been the Braves' most consistent starting pitcher.
Well, and I think, since spring training, they like what they saw. And, it just on the spot that cannot be in. You pick up here, you pick up there. But then they had to do some move to keep what they have on paper to go with from the beginning. But hey, he's doing everything that the Braves want to do. Star spot, bullpen guy. Now he's starting. I think he's looking really good. I mean, we talked earlier with Walt about him. It's one of those guys, he like to pick the corner. And if he can hit those corners and get those calls, he's going to be very difficult to hit.
6 wins, 5 losses on the Ford pitcher profile. Let's take a look at the Mets Capital One starting lineup this afternoon, Todd.
Yeah, Francisco Lindor back at the top. You see him there. But the guy you got to talk about right below him, Juan Soto, the sole all-star for this Mets team. And it doesn't matter who you put around him. It doesn't matter where he's hitting the lineup or what the rest of the team's doing. This guy comes out and hits every day. And then I love looking at A.J. Ewing, young left-hander, exciting young center fielder, left-handed hitter, but in there today against the left-hander as well.
Mets have lost 12 of their last 14 and hoping to kind of flip into some momentum here in the week before the All-Star break. So it'll be Lindor, Soto, and Bichette to lead things off for New York under interim stewardship. Interim manager Andy Green taking over for Carlos Mendoza last week and wearing dual hats. We'll talk about Andy's very unusual role with the Mets as we continue. Taking a look at Atlanta defensively. Some gold in the infield, some gold in the outfield. Mauricio Dubon has been more than just a utility player. Walt Weiss describing him as a super utility player to us this morning.
Well, I admire this kid. He's just a great kid. He knows how to play the game. He knows where to play. You put it anywhere on the field, he's going to get the job done. So, obviously he started this year playing shortstop since Kim got hurt. But now he's playing him left field most of the game. But he can go everywhere. I mean, having a good start of the season can help. So, he's just in there doing the job.
A little later than expected, we've got baseball in Atlanta. Martin Perez ready to go to work. Lindor, Soto, and Bichette to start the first. And Star Spangled Sunday in Atlanta is underway with strike 1. Francisco Lindor with a couple of hits in the Mets loss last night. And back in the leadoff spot for the second straight game. Of course, missing a lot of time on the IL this year with a variety of problems. The hamate bone injury in the spring, calf injury more recently. And at least part of the Mets' wobbly start, Todd, can be explained due to injuries like Lindor's.
Yeah, well, Lindor and Soto last night played their 15th game of the year together, and that's not a recipe for success. As you see, He's batting from the right side today. Martin Perez trying to get him to roll over, get the ground ball out of him. But Lindor feels healthy. It took him a while to get back from the calf, but he's the guy that needs to be the catalyst.
Ground ball to third for Austin Riley. Boots it. E5 starts the ball game, and Lindor is aboard to start the first.
Well, just like we talked about, gets the ground ball. Austin Riley usually so sure-handed at third base. Gold Glover not able to come up with it.
Just a bad hop right there, just a long hop. He just trying to time it, and it just came up on him.
You know, baseball players being creatures of habit, and you guys played this game long enough to know what I'm talking about here. A delay to the expected start time, sometimes it just makes things clunky.
I was just talking about this earlier. I say I will lose my mind when it's rain delay. I come into the game. I'm ready to go to play. Rain delay can throw my game way off. You know, I'm going to show up. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do, but a rain delay can mess you up a little bit.
And I think Anthony Rizzo earlier explained it well, that when you get the rain delay close to start time, where you think you might play, and then you get held off, that sometimes screws up the rhythm. And Austin Riley's probably figuring out, hey, I better get my head back in this one.
So man aboard to start the ball game now for the Mets. Lone All-Star this year, 5-time All-Star Juan Soto, who takes a big cut at an 87-mile-an-hour sinker. You know, we're going to see a lot of that today, and that is part of the fun of watching a guy like Martin Perez pitch. He is a true craftsman. Fastball doesn't break 90 miles an hour. Soto dumps that one into right field. Lindor takes an easy turn into third. Soto on his way to second. To throw there is in time to get him.
Good throw by Mike right there. He got a run of it. He got his feet underneath and got a great throw on it. You know, early to, trying to risk something, trying to get an extra base hit right there, but good throw by Mike.
Gets around it well, fires a strike. Soto trying to make something happen right now with this Mets team. I think they're trying to create offense, try to be a little bit more aggressive. Great piece of hitting on the fastball in, and he sees right here. He thinks he's going after it easy, so Juan's going to try to get there. Not quite enough.
So runner at third with one away for Bo Bichette, and the Braves play the infield in. A part of the calculus here, guys, is that there is more weather expected coming later on today, and even a one-run first could be very problematic if we're playing a 5-inning complete game.
Well, I mean, hey, we look at that radar. It looked really, really close to be a lot of rain coming after around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. But let's hope we can get this in and good team win.
Both of these guys on the mound today work quickly. He's trying to get a ground ball as well, which that infield drawn in.
Bo Bichette lines out to left field. 1-0 New York. RBI number 48 for a Met who started the season so slowly. 1-0 Mets, 1 out into the afternoon.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, you go to a new team, you get a big contract, expectation is high, and start struggling, and then he's a professional guy. He know what to do, but sometimes you go to a new team, it takes a minute to get your feet on the ground and get to know everybody and know the city and all that stuff.
So 1 in, 1 out, 1 on for Mark Vientos, who homered yesterday, his 4th in his last 12 games. This is not a Mets team that ranks favorably statistically really anywhere in the offensive palette. Next to last in OPS. Bottom 5 almost across the board. But off to a good start here today on the Bo Bichette RBI single.
Well, on paper they look good. It's just a bad start and a lot of injuries. Things didn't go their way. So, we were talking early, like when they make mistakes, then the other team take advantage of it and they just punch them down to the dirt. But I think they have a good team. They got a young ball team, and I think it's just a matter of time for them to put everything together and go out there and have fun.
And a quick 4-pitch walk issued to Mark Vientos. So first and second with a run in and 1 away, and an opportunity now for the rookie right fielder Carson Bench.
Carson's been such a bright spot for this Mets team so far, hitting in the top of the lineup most of the year, but now with Lindor back, They've slid him down, try to get him some RBI opportunities. He's actually a guy that's had reverse splits this year. He's been very good against left-handed hitting, and part of that is his ability to hit to the left side of the field. That shortstop area right there is open for him.
289 hitter versus left-handed pitching this year, so the reverse splits that Todd mentions are really in order here, and it's 5 straight misses by Perez. First and second with a run in and 1 away, and after the rain delay, a late start worth the Mets while so far. Ball and a strike. I'm wondering from Anthony Rizzo's standpoint, as a left-handed hitter, you're squaring up or trying to square up Rizzo, soft tossing lefty, a guy who's a command guy, not going to blow any bats up. What's the approach for you like on a day like today?
To stay within yourself. You can't try to do too much off him. Perez, even though he missed the zone 5 straight there, he's still going to nibble. He's still going to pick. So just because he's missing, you can't expect a cookie right down the middle. You have to stay disciplined.
Changeup is one of his favorite weapons. He uses that to get ground balls. The 90-mile-an-hour sinker that we talked about, looking for one of his ground balls here. Instead, it's lifted out to right for Yastrzemski, and out number 2. Did you guys feel the same way against a soft tosser, a cunny thumber?
Yeah, early on in my career, he faced a guy like an Atlanta Brave like Charlie Lebrand. And I'm not talking about Glavine, because Glavine, when he first came up, would pump 92, 93 on occasion. As he got older, he would nibble, 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 get that expanded strike zone. I tried to think about hitting the ball the opposite field and making him throw the ball over the plate. But it's tough sometimes. It looks like a cookie, and then it just disappears.
Yeah, I would just like to say, every pitcher, I mean, they live to get the ground balls, and they live down to the zone to get, weak contact. We just have to look up in the zone and wait for them to make that little mistake, because they're going to throw the changeup. You just wait for that changeup to be up in the zone so you can drive it.
Well, there have been 4 balls put in play in the first inning here against Perez, 2 of them with exit velocities over 100 miles an hour. And it's 0-2 on a guy who homered against a hard thrower yesterday. Tyrone Taylor took Chris Sale deep last night. Great one-hop pick by the rookie shortstop to prevent any further damage. Jim Jarvis, show us what you got. Mets get a run, but it could have been worse. After a half inning, it's 1-0 New York. Visiting Mets on the board first on this Star-Spangled Sunday in Atlanta, giving Nolan McLean a little bit of advantage to work with as we take a look at the Ford pitcher profile on the still rookie right-hander.
Yeah, Nolan McLean's had a little bit of an up and down season as a rookie. You expect that. 5 starts or so that were almost unhittable, and then hitters got a little bit more aggressive on the fastball, started ambushing that fastball, and he's had to get locked back in to get that big spin back over the plate. Very good his last time out.
Drake Baldwin, the first to face him, leading things off for Atlanta. Will set the rest of the Braves lineup for Walt Weiss in just a moment. And a quick 0-2 start for McLean versus Drake Baldwin, who missed a little bit of time with an oblique strain. 23 games on the shelf, 0 for 8 in this series to start things out on Friday and Saturday. Tried to check it and did so on an appeal. 1-2. We mentioned the
Braves. He got hit by a pitch.
Oh, it did. It clipped him. Mets want to take a look. And no challenge being issued. On that back foot.
Yep.
Might have swung first. He swung through it.
Probably.
That could have definitely been called a third strike before it hit him on the back foot.
So an error starts the top of the first. A hit batsman in the bottom of the first. And now it's Ozzie Albies with a chance. Runner aboard.
Yeah, Drake, since he came back from IL, been struggling a little bit. Is spending the zone, chasing, trying to do too much, and we just needed, Braves needed him to get back on that good swing that he had in the beginning before he got hurt.
Yeah, that hit by pitch right there is something that's plagued Nolan a little bit because of the amount of horizontal movement he gets on that sweeper. Sometimes it'll look like a strike and end up on the guy's back foot, and he's had some hit by pitches just that same way.
Only Anthony Kay of the White Sox has hit more batters than McLean. That was his 12th of the season. And it's 2 balls and a strike on Ozzie Albies. I think you touched on the key for McLean there, Todd. The spin is elite. He throws the big sweeper, the big curveball. His sinker grades out in the top percentiles around Major League Baseball. A complete repertoire. Leads to big punch out totals and a lot of ground ball outs. Here's another one in the corner. Albies dumps an extra base hit into right. Baldwin being given the stop sign to third, and here come the Braves.
I find it kind of interesting, guys, that McLean says too that his spin is what's getting the most damage against him. He comes out, majority of the pitches are all off speed. You'd think he'd try to come out and establish that good sinker that he has and get him off the off speed, but he showed it to him early, and the Braves are ready for it.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive, Riz, because those are the 2 pitches that kind of put him on the map, the sweeper in particular. Left-handers have had no trouble against it this year, and now here's another left-handed power bat in Matt Olson.
The more us lefties could see that pitch, the better off we are. That the more that we could just start timing up the off speed, we know where to start time up the fastball. We know where that off speed needs to start. So I always think it's an advantage hitter when you see that many pitches, or you see all of his pitches your first time around.
Big Todd, you've seen him pitch a lot this year. As you take a look at this foul ball once again. Last start out there for McLean Tuesday at Toronto. 7 strikeouts, 6 of them came on sweepers against left-handed batters. It was really good last time around.
Yeah, he talked about it after the game that he felt good with it from coming out of the bullpen. He used it effectively, was getting the swings and misses, but was landing it. You saw the one to Baldwin where he couldn't quite land it. That's where it gets him into trouble. When he can land it, then the fastball, to Riz's point, becomes an added weapon for him, because you've got to pay attention to that sweeper and that curveball again, and then the fastball can get by you. If he's not throwing it for strikes, you can look for the hard stuff.
2 balls and a strike on Matt Olson. Couple of homers in the series. That's lined out to left. Good sliding grab by Taylor will keep everybody in check on base. And a well-earned first out behind Nolan McLean.
Good jump right there. It just read it right off the bat.
Saw a really unusual error for Tyrone Taylor last night that they actually called a double. Might be overturned at some point, but he's usually very sure-handed out there, and a great jump on that ball.
The Mets will bring the infield in now for Michael Harris, the second. Harris has homered twice in the series, 5 for 9 over 2 nights against New York pitching, and an opportunity now with runners at second and third and only 1 away.
Since Mike moved his hands back to the position that he started, he's been on and very consistent, doing the right things for the Atlanta Braves.
Bounce right back up the middle and through. Baldwin scores easily, as does Albies, and just like that, that 1-0 lead is gone. It's 2-1 Atlanta. And Michael Harris is in the midst of such a great contact year, and just meets the ball and drives in 2 runs.
Yeah, I didn't know. Somebody pointed out to me the other day. It was like, do you know Mike Harris is going to be hitting the ball the hardest in the league? So, you know, not surprised. Like I say, that adjustment he went back from what made him get here to Major League helped him a lot.
Throw to first goes bad. I think it might have hit Michael's helmet. He's trying for third. We'll see how that's scored as either a 2-base error or a stolen base and an error on the throw, and yet hit him right on the dome.
Just a ricochet. Carson Bench does a great job. He's got a great arm, gets to it quickly, but Michael Harris thinking about third base all the way. As you said, right on the dome. Vientos probably can make that play. Got himself a little bit twisted up on the throw.
Mike wanted to make sure it wasn't cracked.
Well, you know, it's a new position for that kid, Vento, man. You know, just, you know, playing third base, you know, basically, you know, your whole career through the minor league and get into the big leagues playing third base, going to play first base. I think that was a, you know, play that he should have made. But, you know, new there, just don't get a lot of action.
It's tough without the experience. That ball into the runner sometimes can be the toughest one because you're trying to avoid the runner at the same time as kind of concentrating on the ball. Wasn't able to do it, and that kind of is to the point that Andy Green was making earlier, that every mistake,
Another RBI base hit up the middle.
every mistake the Mets seem to make this season, as he put it, draws blood. And right there again, the error at first base gets him to third, base hit, the infield in, once again drawing blood.
2-strike hit by pitch.
2-strike hit by pitch on the back foot on what was probably a swing.
Strike, yeah.
Yeah, those types of things have, you know, sometimes when the team's on a roll, those things, you just bypass them because you get a big double play, you get out of it. This time, it seems to be biting them.
3 runs on 3 hits, a hit batsman, and an error, a 2-base error charged to McLean. And now we're already in the number 6 spot on the Capital One starting lineup for Atlanta. That's Dom Smith. Only 1 gone here in the first.
Great pick by the Atlanta Braves. There's the middle of the spring training, signing him, you know, since they had a problem with Jerson Profar. But he's been nothing but good for the Atlanta Braves this year.
Bouncer for Beatty. To Lindor for 1, and that puts a damaging first inning to bed. 3 early runs for Atlanta. They take a 3-1 lead to the second. FanDuel is the home of home runs this season. Here's a live look at FanDuel's home run odds for today's game. Plus 1,100 for one of the rookies in the lineup. Ewing, Torrens, and Beatty start things here in the second. Handsome payouts for a section of the lineup that doesn't go deep very often. Here's A.J. Ewing to start things out. 3-1 Atlanta. So Martin Perez yields a run in the top of the first. His lineup gets 3 of them back, and he has a 2-run advantage going to work in the second inning. A.J. Ewing would like to snap out of an 0 for 9 that he finds himself in at the start of play here this afternoon. And against a soft tosser that can either extend your misery, or maybe it could be the formula to get you right.
Well, we talked earlier, me and Todd was like, you know, guys like Glavine, you know, we had a lot of left-handers that want to hit left-hand against him, just eliminate that changeup that come down in on them, that make solid contact. But, you know, it just, like I say, you facing a guy that like to nibble, and, you know, you just have to look for it up and trying to put a good swing at it.
Counts 2 balls and a strike on A.J. Ewing. Not the easiest thing, Riz. We'll go to you on this because you're a left-handed hitter that used to kind of fall into platoon situations before you figured it out. Not easy for young lefties to figure out left-handed pitching.
No, not at all. Not in today's game. You don't really get the opportunity as much either being young. You get up and you immediately fall into that platoon role. So it feels like every single time you do face a lefty when you're a young player, you have to get a hit. And when you're in that mindset as a baseball player, it never works out for you. You start gripping the bat tighter. You start swinging at pitches you don't normally swing at because you're trying to make something happen.
High and deep out to right center field. Yastrzemski and Harris negotiate this one. No problem with the left-hander here. A.J. Ewing's 5th of the season.
Matty, that's where you can see why the Mets are excited about this kid. He's got very good plate discipline. I think the more you give him opportunities, he doesn't really chase that much. And we talked to Andy about it earlier today, and they're like, hey, we're going to give him a guy like Chris Sale off and left on left, but this is an opportunity to show that he can hit both sides, and he's got sneaky power because of that short swing that he brings to the plate.
Or just a pitcher all over the plate. You know, it doesn't. That's what you get paid for. Wait for a mistake, and he took advantage of that.
What was that FanDuel number? Plus 1,100. Just a minute ago.
Did you get yours in before the pitch?
Not allowed to play.
Okay.
However, somebody might have made a couple of bucks on that. Second homer against the lefty. All right, we see you. That's impressive.
Todd, to your point too, with Andy Greeny giving him off versus Sale, being such a young player, and it's still, you know, the first half of the season. I could see later on in the season, if Chris Sale is pitching, Ewan being in there as his development goes on throughout the year.
2 balls and a strike to Luis Torrens. Got the night off yesterday. You know, back to the lefty-lefty conversation, Riz, and jump in here. I mean, there are a couple of guys that stand out to me this year who are veteran players who in the last 2 or 3 years of their careers have really completely changed their profile against left-handed pitching. Kyle Schwarber, your old teammate, Cody Bellinger in New York. I mean, just to name a couple. But it took until relatively late in their careers for them to turn that corner.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully they're making that much money. You have to play them, right? Because I feel like, again, guys just fall into that platoon category and they don't get the real runway to face left-handed pitchers. It took me a full season. I hit $170 off lefties in my first year getting to face them, and then the next year I hit over 300. So you have to face them. You have to get the reps. And also, too, lefties, I feel like left on left, you're really seeing 2 pitches. It's a fastball and a slider. Now they're starting to sprinkle in a changeup. I know Perez throws a changeup left on left. That's his pitch. But most of these guys are just 2 pitches.
There's another one, Brett Beatty, for whom the bell curve against left-handed pitching hasn't really made sense. Real good last year, 247 against lefties. This year, minus about 100 points on that batting average.
Yeah, I've seen Brett have spurts where he goes back to being the confident hitter that I've seen on occasion with him, where he's attacking early in the counts. His power alley is left center, and it feels like sometimes when the power isn't coming, he gets a little more pull happy, and then when he gets pull happy, or at least thinking about the pull side, lefties have their way with him because they'll start spinning it and he'll roll off it, hit some ground balls. But when he stays through the middle and the left side, that's when he's most effective, and that's where he gets most of his hits.
Well, I mean, you see that many lefty in the lineup. It looked like
the lefty-lefty clinic that the Mets are putting on this inning.
They must have known something that I guess Perez must not have a good numbers.
Yeah, you showed it early on.
Yeah.
That the Mets have had some pretty good success against Perez and the left on left. Look, his platoon splits over the course of his career, he's been better against right-handers, but this year lefties a little ahead of the game. I think 220 lefties with a 679 OPS for his career, more so like 214. But Beatty does a good job of waiting on the breaking ball. That's the point of that. You're not trying to pull. Sometimes you sit back, you see the breaking ball, and then you react to where it is.
So Walt Weiss sends Jeremy Hefner out to have a quick conversation with Perez. It's part of the storyline between the Mets and the Braves this year. 2 former Mets coaches who immediately upon being asked to leave in Flushing, Queens, were snapped up by a division rival, and that's Anton Richardson and Jeremy Hefner, both of whom have great reputations as major league coaches. Here's Francisco Lindor, runners at second and third. First time through the lineup for Martin Perez. Of the 9 hitters he faced, 6 of them have reached base. Lindor started the trouble, reaching on an error in the first inning. A ball and a strike.
Still funny, still sounds weird to hear you say, Matty, here comes pitching coach Jeremy Hefner coming out of the Braves dugout. Got so used to him being a part of the Mets fabric, and such a great guy and a great pitching coach.
Lindor lines an RBI base hit to left. Dubon up and throwing. Torrens scores easily. Beatty stops at third. Lindor gets into second on the throw home. And the Mets are on the board again. Still nobody out in the third.
It's a really nice read by Francisco Lindor on the base hit to see the elevation of the throw. Watch, as soon as he sees it's going to go over that cutoff man, he continues his way to second base. It's that kind of base running that gives you that advantage.
he's such a great baseball player. He see everything. He just great base runner, great defender, great hitter. Just took advantage of that mistake that LeBron made right there, throwing over Riley's head, because he probably saw that they was not going to send him, and it was a one-hopper hit to him. So.
Boy, now Perez in a really tough spot here with 2 runs in. A 3-3 ball game, still nobody out, and Juan Soto at the plate in front 2-0. And we're going to have a challenge by Drake Baldwin on that pitch.
Pitch and strike.
Yep. I'm so impressed when those challenge replays come in and it's just a little tick of the strike zone.
0.1, yeah.
How good are these dudes behind the plate? I'm talking about catchers with their knowledge of the strike zone.
The funny thing is, Juan probably looking at him like, I know the strike zone too, and you're probably going to get that one. He didn't. Usually he smiles when the catchers try to challenge something that he takes.
I mean, get credit to both, even the umps. They a lot of people give them a lot of grief about, calling bad pitches and stuff like that, but they've been pretty consistent with that zone.
Mike Estabrook behind home plate this afternoon, veteran umpire. And it looks like we got some kind of an equipment failure here. Why not? I think that was our ump cam.
Technology.
Now it's Mike Estabrook's ump cam. You break it, you buy it, Mike.
Looks like there's just a little battery issue. Get some duct tape. That'll fix it. Duct tape fixes everything. Just tape it back in. Oh, there it is. Oh, Velcro. Not duct tape, but Velcro does the trick.
Battery fell right out. There we go. Looks like it's working again.
Got proof of it.
That's right. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Soto. 2 runs in with 2 runners aboard, as Vin Scully used to say. Deuces wild. Bo Bichette waiting on deck. Into right. A base hit that'll score Beatty. Here's Lindor right behind him. And the first 4 Mets to have come to the plate in the second have all scored. Still nobody out, and it's 5-3 New York.
Well, we previewed Juan Soto and why he's continuing to be an all-star. When he gets 2 strikes, he spreads out, chokes up on the bat a little bit, and he makes sure that the ball's in the strike zone before he attacks it. And he's so good left on left, waiting on the breaking ball and not trying to pull. Said he drives over the second baseman's head. Nice job.
Bo Bichette already has an RBI hit this afternoon. 5 runs on 6 hits, and this on the heels of a start for Martin Perez, in which he allowed 5 in 5 last time around Tuesday against St. Louis.
We talked earlier about Perez. Velocity is not there as it used to be, so he's going to nibble, and if he's not getting that corner strikes or that borderline strike, he's going to be in trouble. Then he have to throw the ball over the plate.
Bichette pops it up. Yastrzemski in from right for the first out of the inning. Yeah, this is where, I'm not a guy that believes wholeheartedly that all the expected stats are gospel. But if you look at the expected stats with somebody like Martin Perez, they would indicate that he has pitched in some pretty good luck. Right? There's hard contact there. Some of the outlying numbers are a little worse than a guy that has a better than 500 record with a low ERA. In other words, there's an expected regression if you believe in that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, like we talked earlier, me and Todd, I look at the numbers, and the Mets hit him pretty good. And like I say, you're not getting those ground balls or the double plays after a hit. It's tough to get out of the innings.
And to your point, Matty,
The batter's challenging the pitch.
Another challenge. Vientos likes to challenge pitches, and I'd love to say that he's right most of the time, but oftentimes he misjudges. That one he got.
Pitch is a strike.
Burned again. He hasn't been the best at making the challenges and having success at it. But to your point, there's good defense out there that helps him get out of those expected numbers. At times, balls hit hard don't necessarily mean they're going to get through a great defense, and you've got defenders all over this field that wear gold and know how to run the ball down and make those plays.
Vientos bounces it to shortstop. Jarvis to Albies to Olsen for the inning-ending double play. A damaging inning, however, against Martin Perez. Now a 5-3 Mets lead. A.J. Ewing's leadoff homer starts a 4-run rally in the Mets half of the second. Mets take a 5-3 lead. There have been runs scored in all 3 half innings so far as we go back to work in the bottom of the second. Austin Riley, Mike Yastrzemski, and Jim Jarvis, bottom of the Atlanta order against Nolan McLean. Wondering what to do with all the runs of support early on today, and it's 0-2 on Austin Riley. So McLean allowed the 3 runs on 3 hits in the first, all of them coming on different pitch types. And for a guy with a very wide, broad arsenal, Todd, you always wonder about how many pitches are enough.
Well, look, he's got a sinker with good movement in mid-90s. The curveball has been almost unhittable this year, but the cutter gives me a little bit of concern because the way his sinker sinks and his 4-seam rides, the cutter almost acts like a BP fastball at times, and he's had some damage against that cutter as he gets Riley to swing on that, strike himself out, and throw the bat into the seats.
Boy, if there are no nets up, that's 7 or 8 rows into the stands, and it's very tricky.
Well, thanks for the nets now. We got nobody, those things will fly in the stands. But go back to your point, Todd. I mean, I see a lot of great pitchers lost their good stuff by, you know, adding that cutter and fall in love with the cutter.
I understand with his philosophy at times when he thinks he needs a pitch to get himself back into counts at times. You see only 10% cutter, but he's increased it a little bit more when he's not finding success landing his sweeper. Sometimes it's okay, but sometimes because of the movement that he gets on all of his other pitches, it does the hitters a favor, Andrew, and I think that's what you're talking about.
Yep.
Ball and a strike, the count to Mike Yastrzemski, homered yesterday. A non-starter last night, but got on base 3 times after rotating into the game. Yeah, I think the conversation on McLean's vast repertoire is interesting, and you wonder the longer he stays in the league, and I'll go to Riz on this. I mean, we've seen guys pare down their repertoire before. Not everybody can be Yu Darvish. Not everybody can be Seth Lugo and get away with 5 different sliders. As a hitter, it's got to be challenging because you just don't know what's coming.
No, and you just really have to pay attention to the game early on and see what he's landing, see what he's not landing. Right now, the first 2 innings here, he's a little bit erratic, so you got to just tunnel him right down the middle, see something up, see that off speed up, because that sweeper that's sharp is strike the ball right away. The one that's in the zone starts up, and you're looking for the sinker up as well. So as a hitter, I could see why they're hitting the ball well off his off speed, because they're looking for it up, and when that slider stays up, it's a good one to hit.
There's the rookie shortstop Jim Jarvis. Already made a really good defensive play here this afternoon. His 4th start with the big league team, having been called up from AAA Gwinnett, where he had reached base safely in his last 21 minor league games. And with shortstop being kind of a revolving door in Atlanta this year, they give the kid a chance. Line softly to center. Ewing on for it to make a good play for out number 2.
You know, Matt, I wanted to add one thing to what Riz was talking about, and that's go to thinking that Nolan McLean was a 2-pitch guy 2 years ago. He was not even really a pitcher except for as a closer until 2 years ago. And so I think as a starter, he's developed all of these pitches thinking that it's what he needs to be a big league starter. But as a closer, he was primarily sinker slider, and then he's developed all these. So he's still a work in progress, I think, as a young pitcher.
The league's going to adjust to you. The league will always tell you what you need to do on the offensive side and pitching as well. So he's going through the growing pains. He's young. It's not a question of his stuff. It's just figuring out what works for him on the mound to go as deep into the game as he can.
Throwing a lot of curveballs to Drake Baldwin. That was the pitch that he hit him with on an 0-2 count in the first, and 2 of the first 3 pitches to him here in the second have been curveballs.
He's got a weird slot where the ball come out. It's not really on top. It's kind of like side a little bit.
2 balls and 2 strikes. I think it's an interesting topic, though, what you bring up, Todd, the fact that he's learning all this on the fly. He is a tremendous athlete by anybody's standards. Former 2-way player at Oklahoma State, college quarterback, like one of those guys that's probably good at every parlor game from shuffleboard to billiards.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because spring training was talking to him about his competitiveness, and he said that his dad really drove him to be competitive, but he admits that if he's playing cards with his wife or if he's playing ping pong with his friends, he has to win. He's not letting up on anything. So your point, he's good at a lot of different things, and he's very, very competitive. That's also what makes him a little bit different as a young pitcher. He's got a tenacity about him that is different from a lot of guys that I've seen.
2-2 pitch. A guy with a near 50% ground ball rate gives up a ground ball through the hole this time, and Baldwin's aboard on a seeing eye single.
He sounds like John Smoltz. John Smoltz like to be competitive everything that he does in the world. Good piece of hit right there, just right between the defender. Like we talked earlier, Drake been scuffing a little bit, but good to see him get a hit now, and hopefully he can get things going. Go back what we talked about earlier with Riley. I mean, maybe a strikeout right there that last at bat, but we're looking at you're looking for him to. What we saw yesterday, the game, driving the ball to right field, just miss a ball out to center field. You want to see that going from him, from that side, for the bottom of the lineup for the Atlanta Braves to continue to be successful.
Here's Ozzie Albies now with runners at the corners, and Albies aggressively swinging at the first pitch. Ozzie's been great this year with runners in scoring position. A .343 average in spots like this. Headed to the All-Star game for the 4th time in his career, his first time as a starter. A ball and a strike. Terrific numbers in damage spots like this one, an OPS nearly 900.
I think the problem that everybody look at Ozzie, it's just him, trying to stay healthy. He have a lot of shoulder problems, little hand problems that hurt him, that he don't be that consistent. But you look at his number overall, his number as lifetime second base for Atlanta Braves is in the top.
Little flare that's going to slice foul and just out of play. So ball and 2 strikes on Albies. Yeah, his year has been tremendous, and we visited with Walt Weiss about him before the game. He has earned Walt's respect over the years, and this year it got ratcheted up. I mean, Ozzie's coming off a down year for him. This year his walk rate's up, his strikeout rate is down, the pop is back, contact is elite. On the right side, and Beatty to Vientos to retire the side. First time that there hasn't been a run scored in an inning today.
Well, Martin Perez struggling a bit early. What are you seeing from him to start this game?
Yeah, usually you're getting too much on the plate. Martin is really good at clipping corners and that type of thing, but every once in a while it starts leaking over to the plate. It gets in a little trouble.
And the bat's waking up, though, offensively. What are you liking that you're seeing so far?
Yeah, our offense is coming back around. 9 homers over the last 2 previous games, and guys starting to swing the bats well again, so that's a good sign.
Well, thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I would imagine Walt's seen stuff like this before. Baseball lifer, terrific career as a player, longtime career as a coach, second managerial gig After being here as Brian Snitker's bench coach for such a long time, this is just another day in the big leagues for Walt. You know, we forgot to ask Walt when we visited with him if he still has the creature. The one glove that he used his entire playing career. Carson Bench takes a strike, and it's a ball and a strike.
It is the old Mizuno, the creature.
You got to see that thing, right?
I saw that thing live. I mean,
did it walk on its own?
It probably walked to shortstop by himself, and Walt just have to go there and just sit there. You know, I grew up a big Oakland A's fan. Watch Walt, you know, win that year, the Rookie of the Year, and you know, go out there and win the world champion with Oakland A's. You know, get chance to play with him here in Atlanta. It's awesome. Great man, great baseball man. Loved the game. Obviously, he's still in the game. You know, so a lot of respect to Walt. I mean, don't make it cut. I mean, he will knock you out if you're not disrespecting him.
Benj, Taylor, and Ewing here in the third inning for the Mets, and that's topped up the first baseline. Olson going to be a tough play. Good thing he's got a big, long wingspan. Not every first baseman is able to make that play.
No, and he makes it look easy. Carson Bench flies once he gets to top speed, getting down the line, trying to beat him there. Olson, oh, got him on the back foot too. Olson makes everything look kind of smooth and easy, like he's never in much of a hurry, but always gets the job done. What a solid player.
Got to have long arms at that spot.
That's why he's a Gold Glove. I mean, very solid defender. I mean, you can see, like you say, he's so relaxed. He never don't let a lot of soft watching.
No panic, yeah.
Three-time Gold Glover. So one gone for Tyrone Taylor. Will put the next pitch in play. Nice short hop ball by Riley, and two fine plays.
Speaking of the Gold Glovers, going back to the creature, Andrew, do you find it very different nowadays? Guys use gloves right out of the box or right out of the bag. And like Lindor, I watched Lindor, it feels like he uses a different glove every day or every series at least. And it used to be guys would keep gloves for at least a couple of years. Maybe not like the creature, but at least a couple of years.
I went the longest I went with my glove was like 8 years. But then after that, you know, glove companies start making gloves more softer than what they used to be. You know, back in the day, like we talked earlier, you have to put shaving cream, oil, put it in the microwave, do a lot of damage to it before you get it soft. But now these guys have, you know, all the different colored gloves. So the glove company made the glove ready to go.
I used to throw my glove in the oven as soon as I got it. Throw it in the oven, break it in how I wanted to, go right to a pitching machine, crank that thing up and just start catching balls. I could break it in a day. Put it in the oven, a nice kind of maybe an avocado brine on it. Yeah, you have to give it a little scent, some Italian scent.
No microwave, Riz? You went to the straight oven, huh?
I just went straight to the oven. I would go in. The chefs at spring training every year would think I'm crazy, but before you know it, some of the guys were doing it as well.
Still a ball and two strikes on A.J. Ewing, who homered to lead things off in the second.
I had Rawlings give me a double lace in my web because every year from all the throws you take, it ended up breaking one of my webs. So I had him eventually just double lace it. So for the most part, I can go the full year with using it.
Or as we learned today together in our visit with Andy Green, sometimes it wasn't a glove at all. Sometimes it was a literal frying pan.
Yeah.
You got to tell us that story.
Our first day of spring, Greeny was there as our new bench coach, and probably talking to Nico Horner about it doesn't matter what, as long as your hands are there, it doesn't matter. You can catch it with anything. So we were talking. I brought a frying pan out to first base and started catching ground balls with a frying pan.
That's how you know how good your hands are.
You gotta have soft hands, and they can never sleep. Hands can never. Your hands always are working when you're an infielder.
Just a visual of you out there with a literal frying pan.
I hope it was a good first impression for Greeny.
He remembered it today for sure.
Still 2 balls and 2 strikes on A.J. Ewing.
Do we have pictures of this?
I got to dig in the archives for that.
Is it like a big frying pan, like an omelet pan? What'd you have? What'd you go with?
It was, like the little single egg pan.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, smaller frying pan.
I mean, that photo there, it looks like you had just given Andy a hot foot. You're smiling. He looks chapped, and all was well.
Andy is very competitive. People don't know this, but he will try to beat you in everything as well. So very, very skilled Connect Four player, very skilled ping pong player. But I think that's just a baseball mentality. But Greeny is one of the most competitive ones there is as well.
Ninth pitch of the at-bat on its way to Ewing. It's swung on and missed, and we have our first 1-2-3 inning of the afternoon. Sunday leadoff on NBC is brought to you by Ford. Ready, set, Ford. And by Progressive Insurance, a grand slam for your budget. Some notable big leaguers to have worn both uniforms. Bobby Bowe, only appropriate coming out of July 1st. Bobby Bonilla Day, as it's known in baseball circles, the day that deferred payment clicks in Bobby Bowe's house. One of the smartest moves a player's ever made, by the way. Hardly remember his hot minute in Atlanta. I don't recall the time as vividly as I do with him being a Met or a Pirate.
I remember it mostly as a Pirate because I had to watch him beat up on me as a young Cardinal. But I once was traded for Bobby Bowe as well. So, you know, he was a part of that. Mike Piazza and myself to all those Marlins got me on my path to Texas and then to New York.
You spent what, a couple weeks as a Marlin in that, as a part of that deal?
Well, Mike spent about 8 days in Miami and left me there for another month and a half before I got traded. Thanks, Mike. But yeah, it was very unexpected for me and probably unexpected for Mike at the time, but something the Dodgers felt like they needed to do.
Matt Olson, a strikeout victim to start the third. That makes him 0 for 7 with 5 strikeouts in his career against Nolan McLean. This is turning into a really not fun episode for Matt whenever he faces him.
Go back to that thing, man. We missing a lot of guys. I mean, we missing Tom Glave on that thing that played for the Braves and the Mets. Jeff Francoeur, Mike Hampton. We had a lot of guys that was there with. I remember Bobby Bowe playing for the Braves. I had to help him so much in left field because he was going out there and be like, "Hey, Andrew, you got me." True story. We playing in Tropicana Field back in Tampa or St. Pete, whatever it was, and they hit a pop fly to left field to him, and he right away said, "Andrew, I don't see it." So I went all the way from center field straight left field and got the ball behind me. And he was like, "I know you got me, Andrew. I know you got me." But then we got in this crazy fight against the Rays. Maddox hit Canseco, and Canseco was stripping. And then Bobby came in front and go, "What do you want?"
Two big dudes.
Yes.
2 balls and 2 strikes to count to Michael Harris, who singled in a pair of runs in the first. Mike having a great series now, 6 for 10, and he's a strikeout victim. So back-to-back strikeouts, and with 2 gone to the bases empty, it'll be Mauricio Dubon as McLean looks for his first 1-2-3 inning of the game. Get back to my earlier statement. The rain delay that started the game just got everything off to a goofy start. Errors, walks, it was wobbly.
Well, now, I mean, McLean is settled down, back-to-back strike. That slider looking really good.
And McLean gets his first 1-2-3 inning of the game. Through 3 complete, still 5-3 Mets.
The beach. To Corona, she isn't just a place. She is an element. And with salt and spray, she shoves us relentlessly into the present. That's what's inside every bottle of Corona. So no matter where your journey takes you, with just a squeeze of lime, the beach is always closer than you think. Corona, La Playa awaits.
Green and Andy, 5 runs already where you guys had 6 total in the last 2 days. What's been different?
Yeah, good swings, good at-bats. I think AJ's home run got everybody really going right there, but really good base running from Lindor, too. So there's a lot of really good things on the offensive side right now.
And what do you want to see from Noel McLean these next couple innings?
Yeah, he really settled in here this last inning. I think the first inning he was struggling to get strike one, but you're seeing this stuff right now. It's pretty devastating when it's on.
Thanks so much, Andy.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, Ashley, thank you. Yeah, both starters kind of normalizing things with 1, 2, 3 thirds. And Martin Perez back to work to Terrence, Beatty, and Lindor. That's out to right center field. Harris and Yastrzemski negotiate. Michael Harris makes the catch, and Terrence is retired to start the 4th. It is Star-Spangled Sunday across Peacock and here on NBC. Every game on the Major League schedule today on NBC and Peacock. And a big one coming up later tonight at Dodger Stadium. Sunday Night Baseball. The Padres trying to salvage one in their 4-game series with the bullies of the block, the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are trying to be the first team to 60 wins and finish off a 4-game sweep over San Diego.
Well, we talked earlier about them. I mean, like you say, they know how to manage that to be ready for the October.
Brett Beatty fouls off that one. It's a ball and a strike. Let me ask you this as we talk about the Padres specifically. Another team that is expected to be busy at the trade deadline along with the Mets. You know, the roadmap is kind of foggy for both teams, but there is a lot of payroll burden in San Diego, the same way there is with the Mets. I think both of these teams are going to try to beat everybody else to the punch in trying to do whatever it is to retool for the future. They're both going to be really active over the next few weeks.
Well, I don't know, with the new owner over there in San Diego, I mean, you never know what they want to do. I mean, they have a lot of payroll there.
It's a good play by Jarvis, who has shined defensively today. Todd, how many times were you dealt at the deadline?
You know, I played for 11 different teams, and I fail to say how many times I remember being dealt, but a few times Philly to Baltimore was, you know, one that was at the deadline, and I got traded, you know, to Texas late in the season after I was traded to the Miami, and those were for more playoff runs, and sometimes it's exciting.
Another ground ball for Jarvis. We'll continue our trade deadline discussions a little bit later on. That's 8 in a row set down by Martin Perez. Still 5-3 Mets. The countdown is on for the first home Summer Olympics and Paralympics in over 30 years. The LA 28 games on NBC and Peacock. See in 2 years, and you know that Brody Malone will be excited, part of the U.S. men's gymnastics team that won bronze in Paris. Big Braves fan. In fact, Atlanta, the last U.S. city to host a Summer Games in 1996, and that was a different ballpark ago. Dom Smith leads things off in the Atlanta half of the 4th. Will come backer for McLean, who has retired his 5th in a row. Remember the first year that baseball was a demonstration sport at the Olympics? The LA Games.
1984 in the LA Games.
1984. Odeby McDowell, Mark McGuire.
Corey Snyder was big that year as well.
Was he on that team?
there?
Yeah, Randy Johnson.
Will Clark was there. That's right. I don't remember Randy Johnson being on that.
Yeah.
Wow. Packed. One gone for Austin Riley, a strikeout victim in his first at bat today.
You know why I remember that, Matty, is I was being terrorized by all those guys as a freshman at UCLA. So we had McGuire and Randy at SC, had Odeby and Barry Bonds at Arizona State. They were that was a tough league back in those days.
Was that Jack McDowell and Eddie Sprague at Stanford, or was that a little later?
They were a little later. Jack was a few years behind. Boy, by the way, I hated Stanford at the time. They knew how to win baseball games, and they just kind of put you to that Joe Collins, hitting behind guys, hitting, running, pitching well. And UCLA, we had our trouble with them until my junior year.
Well, back then, that side of the world, baseball was just, and especially college, was big.
Yeah, the West Coast.
Yeah, the West Coast was just big.
Here's Mike Yastrzemski now with 2 gone in the inning. 6 in a row retired by McLean, who's found his stride here in the middle innings today, Todd.
He has. And sometimes it takes him a while because we've talked about that spin. He's going to the curveball now more effectively, which something, especially against left-handers, seems like a strike longer because it stays in the zone and then gets out of the zone at the bottom of it. But Rizzo was talking about the fact that for lefties, you see the sweeper for a long time. If you can get used to that, you can time it up. The curveball is a little bit more effective going in and out of the strike zone.
Gets in front of Mike Yastrzemski, ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, wiped that first inning away. And this has been a really good start to the game for Nolan McLean. Martin Perez, for his part, has also settled down here in the middle innings. 2-2.
He's missing on that inside to lefties. He gets frustrated at times. He goes from the far right side of the mound, throws across his body. So to get it into lefties, sometimes he uses that 2-seamer to try to front door it.
Into center field for Ewing. 7 in a row retired by Nolan McLean. Gets the side in order on 10 pitches in the 4th. Juan Soto 2 for 2 with a couple of RBIs. Leads things off when we go to the 5th. To the top of the 5th, Juan Soto leads things off for the Mets. An all-star for the 5th time this year. And of course, the all-star game Tuesday, July 14th on Fox. All-star week kicks off on Friday with the HBCU Swingman Classic. A comebacker off Perez, who takes the body shot and then underhand tosses to get Soto. And now we'll take a look to see if Martin's okay.
I feel like it got him on the pitching arm.
Yep.
It was down by his belt. I wasn't sure. But no, he's looking at the arm. Looked like
forearm type.
Forearm welt. Yep. It's amazing what adrenaline will do because he reacts like it didn't really even hit him. Puts his arm down. Yeah, gets him right on the forearm. Make sure he gets out. You see Juan's face? Juan was like, oh, he doesn't like to see that either.
Yeah.
He's able to recover and make the play.
I mean, it came in at 80 and it went back out at 90 miles an hour.
It's like getting hit by a pitch by 90 miles per hour.
Exactly. I was going to say that too, Andrew. I was going to let you say that.
Yeah, it's like, if he was throwing 90, he hit wrong. It's like he got him with a 90 miles per hour fastball.
For a description on what it really feels like to get hit by a 90-mile-an-hour pitch, to the man that got hit by more 90-mile-an-hour pitches than any active big leaguer, Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah, it doesn't feel great. I mean, he's coming out of the game. It looked like it got him in a great spot. Yeah. Luckily for me, when I got hit, I would hide or I would protect myself, but sometimes you just can't get out of the way.
That's a shame because Martin Perez had really fallen into a nice groove, and it's the hit by pitch that forces him to exit. The Braves will go to the bullpen, a pitching change, and we'll be right back. Score big on authentic gear at MLBshop.com. From official jerseys and memorabilia to hats and hoodies, they've got the season covered. Scan the QR code or visit MLBshop.com, the official source for your favorite team gear. Well, it has been anything but ordinary through the first 4+ innings in Atlanta this afternoon. A wet start to the day. We've seen equipment failures. We've seen bat fly, and most recently we've seen a comebacker cost a starter the rest of his afternoon, and Juan Soto knew it too as soon as he hit that ball. So Martin Perez forced to exit after 4 1/3. He gives way to veteran right-hander Tyler Kinley. Kinley's been called on often and is a big part of the league's best bullpen. Atlanta's relief corps leads the league with a 2.88 ERA. McKinley comes at you with a lot of sliders, and that will be in order against a couple of the right-handed batters here with one out and the base is empty.
I always think that coming in as a pitcher to replace an injured guy is one of the toughest things to do in baseball, because they make you warm up on the mound in front of all the fans. The fans are waiting. They don't recognize all the routine that you've got to go through in the bullpen to get yourself ready and the number of pitches, and they want to get you going. And sometimes as you have a tendency to try to rush yourself back and not be completely ready when they say time to go. It's important for these guys to take the time they need so they don't risk injury.
Well, most of the time when they bring a guy from the bullpen like that, I mean, that's what they looking for, the guy that can come in and go straight into, all right, something happened, you know, we're in trouble. I need you to come in and clean something out. And it's only going to take you like 20 pitches or 25 pitches to get loose. So I think, you know, having him come in, Tyler coming in this situation, I'm sure he know what he's doing, and hopefully he can just continue to do what Perez was doing.
And because he has all the time he needs to get warm in an injury, Michael Harris has decided that he'll just chill in the bullpen a little bit. Andrew, you played a lot of center field here for a long time. Did you ever take a seat out there when a guy was warming up?
I have went in the bullpen at Turner Field quite a few times just to go get some water or whatever. But, you know, hey, he's got a great arm. He pitched before. He can come out and do the. He can come out of the bullpen.
He's getting ready just in case they need somebody.
Yeah.
You know, he's been really busy with the World Cup too, Ashley. He's been kind of adopted by a certain nation team during the World Cup.
Yes, that's right, Matt. Not sure if you saw it the other night, but those England soccer fans were here in Atlanta for a World Cup game, came to a Braves game afterwards, and just decided to, I guess, choose which player they wanted to be fans of, and it was Michael Harris II. They absolutely started just chanting his name, putting his name in the songs that were playing in the ballpark. Harris said he absolutely loved it. He's now become more of a fan of the World Cup, and he even said if the semifinal game lines up with All-Star break, which it should, and if England's in it, Michael Harris, he can actually go and reciprocate the support then. Should be fun.
Well, he can do it today if he wants to watch the Spanish language telecast on Telemundo, England and Mexico tonight. Love it.
I don't know if he was really speaking that true about it, because I think he's an all-star. He's deserved to be in the all-star game. And I don't know if he's going to take that break to go see England play anywhere else. He's going to be in Philadelphia.
A well-deserved all-star. I agree. All right, we're ready to roll. Tyler Kinley is ready to go now after getting all the time he needed to warm up, replacing the injured Martin Perez. And if we get an update on Martin's condition, certainly we'll pass it along. Bo Bichette, the batter, with the bases empty and one gone.
That's tough when you're facing a guy throwing 88, you know, 86, trying to nibble, and then you get the first guy come out of the bullpen throwing the ball over your head. So it's not comfortable, but
Kinley's last outing was 3 days ago against the Cardinals, and he was charged with a blown save. Gave up 3 earned runs in 2/3 of an inning. The season high 3 runs. Generally a guy who is called on for an inning and nothing more. Ball and 2 strikes to Bichette. In fact, his highest pitch count in an outing is 27, and he has not completed more than 1 inning in any of his relief stints this year. So Walt Weiss looking for a guy just to finish the 5th, it would appear.
well, I mean, you know, I think that's what he was, like you say, that's what Walt was looking for, just to get that middle of the lineup, the guys that can do some damage coming in and get, you know, 2 outs real quick.
Ball and 2 strikes account to Bo Bichette, who singled in a run in the 1st. Fly ball out to right. Yastrzemski coming on hard for it to make the catch for out number 2. You know, if in fact the Mets decide to retool completely at the deadline or next year, it'll be curious to see if Bo Bichette is a part of that. Had a really rough start to the year, but we've been seeing kind of the Bo Bichette that we're used to seeing over the years, the past month plus. He's got an opt-out in his deal as the first pitch to Mark Vientos is taken for a strike. I guess the ball's in his court with an opt-out.
It is in his court, and I think to your point, you made a point about expected numbers earlier in the broadcast and how much weight you put into them. For him, BABIP is something that I could take or leave at times, but for the first part of the year, he was hitting the ball, the hard hit rate, the barrel percentage, the pull rate was all about the same as he had done last year, but he was getting no results. The BABIP now has gone up 100 points since May.
Couple of pitchers combined on a 1-2-3 fifth. Middle of the afternoon, Mets still lead by a pair. You can follow Play Ball on X, Facebook, and Instagram. Number 9 batter Jim Jarvis leads things off in the home fifth, followed by the top of the order all-stars Baldwin and Albies. And meanwhile, Nolan McLean, after a rough start, has kind of calmed the waters. He's retired 7 in a row. I don't think there's anything calm about what Mother Nature plans to do the rest of this day, though.
Well, I mean,
we got a tight window here, boys.
Are we allowed to talk about that? Isn't that like talking about a no-hitter and midway through? We're going all right. You don't want to shoot the clown right now.
That's how you talk about it and keep it away. Chopper to first. Vientos knocks it down, then fumbles it, and Jarvis is aboard.
Mark's had his trouble over there at first base. This one he gets on his heels right there. And even though he got on his heels, he knocked it down. You got to get up to a knee. You got to barehand that ball and fire a strike. He still had an opportunity to make the play, just trying to do it from his seat. And when things aren't going well over there, you tend to try to do too much at times, and it feels like he's in one of those ruts.
Leadoff hitters on base, and now Drake Baldwin.
Not using his leg. I mean, he just flat-footed.
You have so much time over there at first base where he could have took 2 drop steps if he wanted to. It's just all about catching it first and then making the play. So maybe a lack of that inexperience over there playing third. He feels like he has to get the ball out at the hot corner over there to get it to first, but he had plenty of time.
The strike to Baldwin. A ball and a strike. So that's 7 errors at first base by Mark Vientos, more than any other first baseman in the league. And there are a lot of people who say, look, the whole idea that the Mets broke camp with a first baseman that hadn't played first and a third baseman that hadn't played third was flawed to begin with. It's hard to learn on the fly in the big leagues. So I think fans that might be on Vientos, I think the kid needs an amount of grace here. He's never played the position prior to this year.
Well, I think he didn't have much of that spring training, to be honest with you, because he was doing WBC game. He was part of that Nicaragua team with WBC, so he didn't get a chance to be at that position that much to learn it.
Yeah, also a problem, right? If you're the Mets, don't you want your guy who's going to be playing a new position with you in camp instead of playing in the World Baseball Classic? I mean, there are a lot of things that generate the conversation.
And I think one added point to that is that I think they expected Jorge Polanco to take a lot of those reps at first base and Vientos to work his way in as the designated hitter and then dispel Polanco at times. So I think they all got twisted into a situation where they had to kind of throw him in on the fly. And when he first took over at first base, he made some impressive plays. He looked like he was playing with some confidence. Since he's had some struggles, it looks like he's lost some confidence and he's playing on defense.
Saw some numbers a moment ago, some FanDuel live odds on Ozzie Albies as we continue the first base discussion here on a 1-1 count to Ozzie. I mean, Riz, you played the first base position for a long time, as did Todd. Could you have imagined trying to learn it after getting to the big leagues?
Yeah, it's just we have to ask a lot of questions. That's what I would be doing, picking people's brains who've played it before, asking how to get better. I mean, the bad thing is too is that some of these plays that he's made throughout the year look worse than they are. An error is an error. It doesn't matter how you make it, but some of them don't look as some plays look a little easier that should be made, right? So obviously in New York with the media, they're going to make that such a bigger story than it needs to be.
Well, I played Japan my last 2 years of my career, and I played first base quite a few games, and I never played first base, and I played a couple games in the big leagues with Texas at first base when Chris Davis was struggling, and you know, Warren Washington would tell me, hey, go play first base. You know, he just got thrown out of the game or something. So I started to get the feeling of that because, you know, I wasn't playing much in the outfield no more, so I was like DHing more, and then once in a while platoon in left field or right field. And I started playing first base. So when I went to Japan, I kind of love it, to be honest, because I'm all about the action, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things. You play in first base, you got to be ready for the actions. And I feel like he's flat-footed at first base.
Yeah, you're in every single play. I think that's what gets overlooked. Being a first baseman and guys who don't know that position, how involved you are in every single play of the game. I used to love playing first base when the first base dugout was on our side, so I could just, you know, give it two hard steps to first base. When it was across the diamond like it is at third base, that's when the legs started getting tired. I know outfielders didn't like hearing that one when I used to say that.
Absolutely not.
You just have so much time over there at first that young first basemen don't realize. Just catch it, take your time, almost pause. That's what I would tell young first basemen. Almost pause in between catching the ball and going to make the play at first, because you have a lot of time.
Ball and 2 strikes. It remains on Ozzie Albies. Real early. Look out. Headhunter. Foul ball into his own dugout.
That could have been dangerous. You know, one of the things, Andrew, and you brought it up at the end, you had fun playing over there. And so when you're having fun, you play more aggressively. And I said he was playing on defense, but you can't play defense defensively. You have to play it aggressively. And he was early on, but the mistakes have caused him to play not to make a mistake. That's when mistakes happen.
Got him. Albies a strikeout victim. Easier said than done. Ozzie doesn't strike out very often.
Not lately, not this year. I mean, the strike zone that we talked earlier, strike zone been very down, putting the ball in play, making solid contact. So, you know, it's a rare strikeout with a high fastball right there.
Four for McLean this afternoon. And his first pitch to Matt Olson backs him up, a ball and no strikes. Olson 0 for 2 today. He has struck out, and again has struck out 5 times in his 7 career appearances against McLean. You know, it's early for McLean, still in his rookie year, made a handful of starts in September when he was called up. But for Matt Olson, you know, knowing that this guy's in the division and that he might have to face him 4 times a year is going to be an interesting thing moving forward. Who was that guy in the division for Utah that you faced that you were like, oh man, this guy again, he owns me?
You know what? Because he's so competitive, I don't know if I want to tell him this, Andrew, but Smoltzy, man, Smoltzy used to wear me out a little bit. The other guys with the Braves, I mean, obviously a great pitching staff. I handled Glav okay. Maddox was a comfortable 0 for 4 because he just knew how to move the ball around. But Smoltzy, he'd punch me out. He'd use the fastball, use the slider, use the curveball. He'd show you everything. And then even when he became a closer, then it felt like he got 6 inches off the outside corner as well. So I'd go down without even taking the bat off my shoulder. So probably Smoltzy.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Olson. Beaten on the ground to second base. Nothing comes of that leadoff error. Through 5, still 5-3 New York. Golf's oldest major comes to NBC and Peacock as the world's best players face off at the Open Championship. Defending champ Scotty Scheffler looks to retain the claret jug. Live July 18th and 19th on NBC and on Peacock. Another pitching change, and the second reliever of the afternoon employed by Walt Weiss is former Met Danny Young. Will work here in the top of the 6th inning to bench Taylor and Ewing and start with a strike.
Going to try to be in there to neutralize the couple of lefties. We talked about the 2 young lefties. He's got that lower arm slot, 3/4 fastball sweeper. He was effective for the Mets.
That's a good pitch right there.
Sweeper swung on and missed on cue. And it's 0-2 to Carson Bench, who is 0-for-2 today. Bench lands in the rookie top 5 across Major League Baseball in hits, stolen bases, runs, and has a couple of streaks on the line this afternoon. A 16-game on-base streak and a 9-game hitting streak, both still active today. Most of the damage, in fact all of it, came in the first inning and a half this afternoon. Mets got a run in the first on an RBI single by Bo Bichette. Atlanta got their 3 in the bottom of the first inning, and then the Mets with 4 in the second explains your 5-3 lead. Still 2-2 to Bench.
That's one of the things right there, him fighting off that inside fastball, even especially against lefties. He's not afraid to get jammed. That's what allows him to stay in at bats. You see him pull those hands in, and he's done that really effectively. Sometimes he'll bleed one over shortstop, but at least it keeps him in the at bat, especially tough bat against a lefty.
And he strikes out Benj on a good sinker.
With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn all of your purchases into extraordinary trips. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
1 gone for Tyrone Taylor.
Just a different lefty for him right there. I mean, the angle, he has some good, good swings against Martin, but this is a tough, different lefty angle for him.
Young faced Taylor on Friday and got him to ground out. In fact, Friday was a really important day for Danny Young. This is his first appearance back in the big leagues after Tommy John surgery, which cut his 2025 season short. Of course, you go through the rehab, the year away, and who's the opponent when you're finally ready to go? Your most recent employer. The baseball schedule has a way of finding those delicious little ironies.
Talk about the baseball gods. There's something real about it.
Straightens up Tyrone Taylor on a sweeper to strike him out. So now A.J. Ewing, who started that 4-run rally we spoke of in the second inning with a solo shot, came to culminate a long at bat. Number 5 for Ewing, is second against a lefty this year. Snapped him out of an 0 for 9.
That was a good swing. I mean, Martin made a mistake with that little slide over the plate, but that was a good swing. I mean, you still have to hit it, We'll see how he's going to handle this lefty with this angle.
Yeah, as we said, the point we made earlier was that he gave him the night off against Sale. Well, this is that similar arm slot, tough lefty, and he left him in there. It's a learning experience, to say the least.
2 balls and no strikes to A.J. Ewing. Yeah, have fun with that if you're a lefty. Bounced up the middle and through.
There you go.
A.J. Ewing with 2 hits today, both against tough left-handers.
Trying to make a case to keep himself in the lineup daily. He likes that swing. That ball's coming into him, but he's very short and quick to the baseball. Not much wasted action at all. Just pulls the barrel in a little bit, finds a hole.
He's not missing those high pitches in the zone for sure.
Very level swing.
Be interesting what they're going to do when everybody else come back from, whenever it is, with the rehab that everybody's out.
Well, I know a lot of people that would just like to see the young guys continue to play, right?
Yeah, I've been watching this team every day, and I don't think there's any way now you sit those guys down. I think you've got to let them continue to develop, get more confidence. At the big league level, they're both really finding a stride. They play like veterans. They love playing every day, and they bring energy.
2 balls and a strike to count to Luis Torrens.
I mean, not to say much. I mean, you put him around Soto, and Soto kind of put the handle on their shoulder and guide them in a way and tell them, hey, this is how we're going to go about our business. You get that confident.
So yeah, Soto's not going anywhere either. He can groom these kids for the next few years, really throughout their entire careers, if they're both lucky enough to play as long as Juan does, right? So they're off to great starts. And it's important, too, for them to develop. It's important for the Mets franchise. They need young, controllable position players.
On the ground for Riley. Across to Olsen to retire the side. A scoreless inning turned in by Danny Young. Still a 2-run game. Back with Todd Zio and Hall of Famer Andrew Jones, Anthony Rizzo, and Ashley Shamity. Matt Vasgersian, nice to have you with us on this Star-Spangled Sunday in Atlanta. Mets hoping to get on the board to win one in this series before the finale tomorrow, as we remind you that All-Star Week is coming. Event begins with the HBCU Swingman Classic on Friday. Next Sunday, the All-Star Futures game and the MLB X 3-on-3 Home Run Derby on the 13th. And then the game itself Tuesday the 14th on Fox.
Hey, I'm going to be a part of that Home Run Derby X.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, I just sneaked that past us. We didn't know that.
They wanted to have kind of like a rivalry thing against Philadelphia, against the Braves. So there's going to be 3 Philadelphia Philly X players against the only Braves.
So
you think I'm going to get booed there?
Nah, they're not going to boo you. They're not going to. They've forgotten all about your playing career. Not for that. Who are you playing with, though? Who else is on the team?
Well, it's going to be obviously a softball player, girl. And then they're going to have a celebrity for each team. So Ryan Howard's going to have a team. I'm going to have a team. Shane Victorino is going to have a team. And Jimmy Rollins is going to have a team.
You guys better not let Shane Victorino win. You guys never hear the end of it.
I know. He's been talking about it already. A third at bat now for Mauricio Dubon, who drove in one of the 3 first-inning runs. Since that first inning, however, the Braves are 1 for 15 at the plate. And Dubon, who's had a really nice year in Atlanta and has become a Walt Weiss favorite, somebody that we visited with Walt about before the game. Ashley has a little more.
Before the game, was mentioning just how excited he was when they signed him, because he's such a versatile player. He said when guys have been part of a winning culture, they have won a championship like Dubon did with Houston in 2022. He said that goes a long way for me. He's one of those guys that helps you win games in a variety of ways, a guy that has a value beyond the stat line. He even said, I would say that Dubon is our best clutch hitter.
Mauricio Dubon, Dom Smith, like the role players have really stepped up big for the Braves this year.
They did. I mean, to be honest with you, he's just not just a Walt Weiss favorite. He's a fan favorite. I mean, these Atlanta Braves fans see what he done, what all that they both done, even Dom Smith, and go out there and walk off home runs, key hits, pick up other guys up when people got hurt or people are struggling.
And here is Smith, the former Met, former first-round draft choice by the Mets, falling behind quickly 0-2. Dom has actually been Atlanta's best 2-out hitter this year. A .323 batter this season with 2 out in an inning, and behind 0-2 with the bases empty. But Nolan McLean really has turned things around today, guys, after that wobbly first inning.
Well, like you say, a weird start, but I look at me and Todd talk about it so many times before this started. The numbers him against the Braves are very good.
He's establishing his four-seamer a little bit more as well, which eluded him earlier.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Smith.
I think Terrence thought they had him on that swing right there, and then with the curveball on top of it, it seems to be something with him. It takes him a little bit of time to get all his breaking stuff dialed in, and then when he does, it makes his fastballs better, and he's used that four-seamer effectively the last couple of innings.
And Dom wants time.
No, that's
that's a pitch clock violation.
Yep.
Wow. So it goes to 3-2 now on Smith.
I think that was one of those where he didn't address him before the 8-second mark. He called it.
Well, he let it flustered about that check swing. He thought he had him a check swing. So
gets him with the breaking ball, and an
Catcher's
appeal
challenge in the pitch.
by Terrence. They call that a ball?
I think that's a pretty good appeal. Dom was walking back to the dugout himself.
Center cut.
Yeah.
Pitch and strike.
Turns into a 10-pitch 1-2-3 inning for Nolan McLean. Sunday leadoff on NBC is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. And by B of A Rewards from Bank of America, rewarding every ambition. That, folks, is the first of nearly 2,000 hits in the Hall of Fame career of Andruw Jones. And the Where's Waldo moment there belongs to Todd Zeile, like Zelig, involved in every meaningful moment in the history of baseball over like a 20-year span. You were there for that.
I was there for that. I saw Andruw. I had heard a lot about this kid that we were going to see in his major league debut. Comes up, and I'm like, right away, I'm like, okay, this kid's legit. He's walking up there with no batting gloves, and he's chasing fastballs at the neck from Curt Schilling and swinging. And I'm like, oh, he's got some bat speed. He's a little anxious right now, but he'll settle in. And that was his 5th at bat of the day, right?
Yeah, that was my 5th at bat. I got a pitch over the plate that was in the zone that I could have hit. But, you know, damn, you're true, man. You know, that was a humbling, to be honest with you, because I was like, you know, excited to get to the big leagues. But then I was like, I'm facing a guy that throw a fastball. I was like, I'm a fastball hitter.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, he threw me first 3 fastballs. He's like 1, 2, 3, go sit down. I was like, oh crap, this is a different route.
Ball and 2 strikes the count to Brett Beatty. Dylan Dodd, the new reliever, into the game for Atlanta, appearing in back-to-back games in the series. Worked last night as well, and in fact retired Brett Beatty on a ground ball less than 24 hours ago. They'll get Lindor and Soto up next, and the Braves still trailing by a pair. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, this is of course a big year for you, Andruw, coming up in a couple of short weeks. Your presence in Cooperstown will be required, and I know we visited about this during our rain delay, but you told everybody you got the speech all ready to roll, huh?
I got it done. You know, a little help here and there, but I got it done, and you know, I'm fixing up to send it to Cooperstown so they can go over it and make sure everything is good.
Oh, they have to proofread it?
Yeah, they do. They want to see what it is.
Wouldn't it be fun if you changed it after you sent it to them?
I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of people does change it because you get up there and you get caught up in the moment, and you just don't want to leave a lot of people out, and you just start saying so much. But you know, they give you they give you enough time for you to get your speech in and get it done. I mean, obviously, I'm going in with Jeff Kent and Carlos Beltran, 2 great baseball players.
Great challenge that time by Drake Baldwin to turn a base on balls into a strikeout. Well, you've got no shortage of former teammates who are already in the building who, if you needed a little support or lifeline, you could call John Smoltz, you could call Chipper for help on the speech. Did any of those guys call you unsolicited to offer any help?
They gave me a lot of crap about it, but tell me not to be too long with it and make sure, you know, it's be short enough, because it's going to be hot up there all the time. So, you know, they sent me. I was there for Chipper, and I was there for Derek Jeter. ceremony. But I know what Chipper say, but they sent me the Chipper speech again for me to have an idea what what's going on. But the Hall of Fame is, they do a great job to keep everybody sharp, updated on what things to do or what not to do. So they're very hands-on on everything.
Counts 2 balls and a strike on Francisco Lindor.
The Hall of Fame is giving Hall of Famers advice. I love that.
How about that?
Yeah. Make that one make sense.
A non-profit organization, they make sure they handle it right.
That's a great point.
3 balls and a strike to Lindor. Boy, Juan Soto waiting on deck. And if body language could talk, he is chomping at the bit to get in there. Grounded to Riley for out number 2. Soto cut the distance between the on-deck circle and the plate in half. I mean, he was right in there getting ready to bat. And I guess the 4 for 6 lifetime line would help explain some of that eagerness.
Well, he's living his chops, right? He's like, oh, man, give me that chance. A couple young guys right there.
Ooh, look at that. Young guys with the whole world in front of them.
19. Wow.
0-1 the count to Juan Soto.
And you're right about Juan. He was smiling. He looked out there and he said, okay, Mr. Dodd, I remember you. You remember me, right?
I mean, he's right in there. That's like Adrian Beltre closeness.
It's one other thing that we've talked a lot about Juan and his influence on the young guys, but I think the young guys have had an influence on him as well. He didn't smile. He didn't do a lot of the things that you're used to seeing Juan do with the shuffle and some of the playfulness at the plate, last year especially, and then earlier in the year it was missing a little bit. Since the kids have been up, even though the team's struggling, he seems like he's having fun. He's helping them to have fun, and he's trying to make the best of a situation that's been tough. And it looks to me like he's having fun playing baseball right now.
Well, I mean, we talked about that point earlier, with Bo Bichette, you know what I mean? It's just like that first year comfortable.
Fly ball out to center field for Michael Harris, and it's a 1-2-3 7th for Dylan Dodd. We're going to keep it here for God Bless America and send it to public address announcer Kevin Krause.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Atlanta Braves invite all of our guests to please rise and sing along as we celebrate America's freedom with the singing of God Bless America, performed by Braves opera tenor Timothy Miller.
While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair as we raise our voices in the solemn prayer.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America.
We're still hoping to get you earlier coverage of the final round of the U.S. Senior Open here on NBC. You can also find a full replay of the final round on Peacock and tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern on Golf Channel. It has stayed a 5-3 game ever since New York scored 4 in the top of the second, in part because Nolan McLean has gotten really stingy this afternoon after an earlier stumble. He's back out there for the 7th inning to work against the bottom third of the lineup for Atlanta and go in front of Austin Riley, 0-2.
Go ahead.
No, and I was just saying, great to see that he's gone back out there. 92 pitches before, but he's retired 13 out of 14. He's dialed in for the strike zone. He's looking confident, and look, he's a guy that wants the ball, and I think it's a good time for Andy Green to let him extend a little bit and see what he's got left.
You're right. He's settled down and he's working all these pitches now, and he's moving it. He's up and down, and you just get the eyes not to only focus on one part of the plate, but he's using all over the plate.
Riley off the end of the bat into shallow right. Benj coming on, and that's going to drop in, a fair ball. That ball had trouble written on it from the jump.
I'll tell you what, fellas, Austin Riley deserves that. He's been grinding throughout the year. He has a good couple of days. Hits a homer yesterday, and then today it feels like he's 0-2 right away, and then hits a line drive to center field his last at bat, and then gets the blooper. So they say they all even out. I don't believe it, but that's what they say.
And it looks like that's it for Nolan McLean. Done after 96 pitches. He will exit with a 2-run lead, but with the tying run coming to the plate on somebody else's watch, it'll be up to the Mets bullpen leading by 2. The ultimate goal of an MLB fan, seeing it all. The MLB Journey to 30 sweepstakes presented by T-Mobile is the ultimate bucket list. Enter now for your chance to win trips to all 30 ballparks at MLB.com/journey to 30 sweeps. Brooks Raley, the first in out of the New York bullpen to try to hold the 2-run lead. He'll get a pinch hitter with a man on and nobody out. Eli White on the heels of a career night yesterday. A home run and a career high tying 4 runs batted in the Braves' lopsided win last night. Pinch hitting for Yastrzemski. Nolan McLean gone after 6 1/3, and after the 3 runs in the first, he was magnificent. And the Mets bullpen hoping to hang on to a win for him today.
Well, Brooks Raley has been outstanding. That's a foul ball off the shin. Never feel good. He's been outstanding for the Mets. Throw that cutter in just like that to try to get the right-handers to roll over on it. Backdoor sweeper as well is a tough pitch for him. Very good his last time out.
And a wave and a miss by White. The strikeout recorded for Raley, 1 away with a man on, and now it'll be a second straight pinch hitter deployed by Walt Weiss.
And that's that backdoor sweeper I talked about. He throws it at the top of the zone intentionally, and something that I never really saw and we didn't see in our day, a lefty that didn't mind trying to backdoor that thing, and he's able to pick those corners when he's on. It's a really tough pitch for him.
Well, I mean, he set that pitch up after that first pitch. He bit it in and it fall off his foot. So that pitch right there was a perfect pitch.
Jorge Mateo is the pinch hitter, 1 for 6 off the bench this year. On the ground to third, Bichette bare hands and gets a very fast man with a fine play.
A really nice play by Bo, and Bo is one of those guys that early in the year he was working so hard on finding his rhythm at third base, and over the last couple of weeks he's been outstanding over there. He looks a lot more comfortable, charges the ball, throws from a lot of different arm angles, and has been just stellar defensively at third base, especially over the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, I think that's an underreported part of his season, how good he's been at third base. A +3 outs above average after kind of struggling defensively at shortstop last year. And back to the top of the order now for Drake Baldwin, who takes strike 1.
Well, I mean, it's tough. I mean, Lindor's down. He plays shortstop some games, so now he's trying to set up in one spot.
A pop for the aforementioned Lindor. Nothing comes of the leadoff single. Brooks Raley closes any would-be rally. Still the Mets by 2.
An off win, to be honest with you, though. Like
T-Mobile, America's best network, connects you to America's pastime. Nice connection, third to first base, executed by Bo Bichette last half inning. A part of a 2-run lead for the Mets, and Bo will lead things off in the 8th against a new pitcher on the mound for Atlanta. But describing Carlos Carrasco as new is a little bit unusual. A former Met, former a lot of things, and at 39 years old, still unafraid to do the work. Up and down from AAA Gwinnett to Major League Atlanta no fewer than 7 times this year. And it's only July 5th. You talk about a guy that loves the craft. A lot of veterans at that stage of the game, you know, no moss to the bus rides. But the guy they call Cookie still loves what he does.
Well, the thing is, though, we got a good setup over here. I mean, Gwinnett is just down the street, so you go to AAA, you just drive there and come back.
That's a good point. Makes it a little easier. A couple of changes defensively. And Bo Bichette continues what's been a really nice afternoon. He's creeping up on a nice round number now. 4 hits shy of 1,000 for his career.
Pinch hit.
Yes, a pinch hitter, as Jared Young will bat next. So both benches being utilized here in the late stages of this 2-run game. Mets looking for some insurance with the leadoff hitter aboard. Young 1 for 7 this year as a pinch hitter. He has found his way into the starting lineup a lot in 2026.
He's a guy that Andy Green knew from Chicago as well, and you had mentioned him playing abroad, Andrew, and just really kind of honing his skills, getting back here, getting an opportunity. And he's been very good for this Mets team. He's been a guy that's come up with some big hits. He's done a really good job of adapting to defense at first base, and they use him whenever they get an opportunity.
Into center field for Michael Harris, and 1 away.
Hosting friends for the next game? Just tell Siri, add hot dogs to my grocery list.
Hot dog looks good right about now.
Can't wait.
Here are the defensive changes. Eli White stays in the game in right. Jorge Mateo at shortstop after they both pinch hit in the previous half inning. Here's Carson Benj now for a 4th time. Still looking to extend that hitting streak and run it to 10. And the on-base streak alive at 16 and counting. Anthony Rizzo, I'll ask you. You, I would imagine, have some experiences against Carlos Carrasco. Your careers intersected at exactly the right time. What do you remember from facing him over the years?
Well, he's 2 different pitchers. I remember when he was throwing 94 to 96. Watch your lips over here. And then as he got older in his career, he became more of a finesse pitcher. So 2 different guys, but when he was throwing hard, I mean, he was coming at you, and then when he started throwing softer, you just had to get him up in the zone. Couldn't be chasing anything. That's what he wants you to do and get you on the ground.
Ball and 2 strikes, the count to Benj. Not an easy thing, though, right? To make that conversion from power pitcher to a guy with diminished quote unquote stuff, learning how to be a finesse guy. I mean, that's a tough task on a short hop. Great play by Albies to Mateo for 1. They doubled him off. Nicely turned on the 4-6-3 inning ender. Still a 2-run game. Personalized highlights and push notifications just for you. Download the MLB app, the #1 app for live baseball. A scoreless inning out of Brooks Raley, and the Mets are hoping for the same result out of a guy who has been as stingy as they come. Luke Weaver has worked 24 straight scoreless innings, the longest active relief inning stretch, and the third longest scoreless streak in franchise history by a relief pitcher.
And he's done it looking like he's got the code, because he's Ronnie made a great point on the air. It's like the hitters are taking a true false test and missing every answer. He's got the fastball and the changeup, primarily a 2-pitch pitcher, uses the fastball up in the zone effectively and then pulls the string on the changeup, but has been so good with his command that he's keeping the guys off balance and been just dialed in.
Ozzie Albies leads things off for the Braves. Olsen and Harris to follow, the 2, 3, 4 parts of the order, and quickly it's 0-2 to Ozzie.
Looked like the ball jump out of his hand.
It is. He's got life on the fastball up over the top, and that life at the top of the zone.
32-year-old right-hander in his 11th big league season. And on an 0-2 pitch, he gets Albies to send it in the air out to Ewing for out number 1. And I would imagine, you know, on a roster that has more than 1 or 2 desired commodities come trade deadline time, that David Stearns is already taking phone calls for Luke Weaver.
Yeah, I'm sure there's people chomping at the bit to get their hands on Luke. And, you know, look, I understand it. As a team that's in flux right now, you've got to take every phone call and look to see what you can get. His value may never be higher than it is right now, but it's also a really hard thing to do, to build a bullpen, and the back 5 guys in this bullpen have been the one consistent force for this Mets team. So it's hard to think about breaking all those guys up, but this guy is certainly a desired commodity.
I think that's the tough decision, because, you know, you see what the bullpen can do, and then you like, wow, I mean, if we can get our starting rotation to do what it's supposed to do and, you know, get everybody to play good, we have a back bullpen that's going to get the job done. And do you want to break it up and just be like, okay, we're done with it and let's go see if we can find other prospects? But it's a tough decision that the GM have to make.
Mets bullpen has been good. Kind of gets lost in the sauce in what's been a disappointing start to the season overall. 0-2 the count to Matt Olson. Two big lopsided wins for the Braves in the first 2 of this 4-game series. Olsen to the opposite field, slicing foul. Wow. That ball hung on a little longer than I thought it was.
It did. That looked like it might be trouble, might be a threat to that scoreless streak, but just a long strike, foul ball. And I think Luke, when he's going to go with that fastball up, I think he wants a little higher to try to get Matt to chase. You don't want to leave something for him out over the plate, because he can take you deep any part of the ballpark.
Olsen headed to the All-Star game for the 4th time in his career, his 3rd appearance as a Brave. Just gets a piece to stay alive in a 2-strike count. And might have clipped a piece of himself there.
Grab fall on the toe. Such a consistent man. He always, you know, he come up, he show up, he's ready to play. He lead by example. You know, not much talking, just go out there and do the job.
Oh. That one's on the instep. You don't have a pad that covers that one. He's got the toe guard, but that one on the instep is trouble.
One of the longest consecutive games played streak in the history of the sport. Almost 1,000 games. Didn't miss by much.
It looked like Torres was thinking about challenging it for a minute, but then decided he was going to wait for that one. Looked like it was a little outside.
Wise move not to challenge that one.
Just got one left, though, so I don't know if who's going to take it.
And now Olsen will challenge.
The batter's challenge in the pitch.
And I have a feeling that this is going to stay A called strike 3.
Oh my
Pitch and
God.
strike.
That's what I'm talking about right now. Luke has been able to paint consistently. You saw him speed up his motion right there. A little deception as well. That doesn't hurt when you got things going right. Do what you can, and it all seems to work.
Yeah.
If you're a team that has deep October, if you think you're going deep in October and you get a player like Luke Weaver, that instantly jolts your team that's already off to a great start.
Why'd you come off the word aspirations, Riz? You were right there on it, dude.
You know what? I got nervous. I did. Yeah. Make sure my vocab is dialed on. Still early.
0-1 the count to Michael Harris. By the way, yeah, the Braves are the worst challenging team in the sport, which is kind of counterintuitive, right? One of the best records in the game, first place team essentially the entire year, yet ABS has not been kind to them.
I mean, if you miss challenges late in the game, better off to challenge and not leave it on the marker. But early challenges is what has plagued the Mets. They're making challenges in the first 3 innings at times. Even when they're right, they're not the wisest challenges. Keep them late, and then if you miss them, it doesn't matter.
Well, I think we did the game last, like, I don't know, earlier. And we asked Walt about, the challenges. So how was the plan about the challenge? And he was like, yeah, I'll tell the guys, go ahead and use it. You know what I mean? Because then it can be a fair game later on. But, it can turn into a good thing for you in the 9th, 8th inning with bases loaded, a punch out or something. So you got to have a strategy about going about it.
Full count to Harris now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, there are a lot of guys that have struggled with it and have said openly, now I've got to be an umpire too. Right? It's hard enough to process the job of hitting major league pitching. Full count to Michael Harris with 2 gone to the bases empty. Got him swinging. An impressive 1-2-3 8th turned in by Luke Weaver. Still a 2-run game in Atlanta. Illumination's Minions and Monsters is the genius and totally true story about 2 minions who set out to make a movie and unwittingly unleash monsters onto the world. See Minions and Monsters only in theaters now. Back alongside Andrew Jones, Todd Zeal, Anthony Rizzo, Ashley Shamady, Matt Vasgersian. Good to have you with us on Star Spangled Sunday, and it's been a good day so far for the visiting New York Mets. Trying to get back into the win column after dropping a pair to the Braves on Friday and Saturday evenings. A 5-3 lead for New York in the late stages here this afternoon, top of the 9th inning. And Tyrone Taylor against Carlos Carrasco to lead things off. Taylor, Ewing, and Torrens. All the scoring came in the first inning and a half here today. And after a rain delay that prevented a timely start, it was all offense in the first and second innings. Pitching has taken over, and now it's a 1-2 count to Tyrone Taylor.
And the old adage that, this sometimes these stadiums feel like they have a dome on them. It's rain all around us, and here we are still playing in the sunshine. So, Manny, I think that's
right. Well, we thought we were going to lead things off today on Star
Andrew scared me earlier. He scared me earlier about all the blob wash.
Hey, it looked a lot. It looked a lot. Around 4:35, it looked a lot.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
Man, turns out you were really good at baseball. You're not much of a weatherman.
And he knows this area. He's had a lot of rain delays right here in this ballpark.
It's probably raining at my house right now.
After listening to Andrew, I was ready to buy an ark to get out of here today. Well hit out to left. Dubon only watches, and Tyrone Taylor leans into one. That's back-to-back games with a home run for Taylor and some late insurance for the Mets.
Tyrone Taylor against his former teammate. I'm sure these guys have a little wink, nod when he walks to the plate. But Tyrone Taylor, much like we talked about Michael Harris, when he's hot, he's hot. He has his moments where he can be very, very streaky, and you want to take advantage of those moments, keep him in the lineup, and right now he's seeing the ball well.
Great swing right there. Made a mistake with the pitch over the plate, and he made him pay. I'm sure they have dinner a couple times with each other when they were teammates. Did a slider that hung over the plate.
Well, I mean to tell you, that ball was absolutely crushed. 417 footer. One and one the count to A.J. Ewing, who has also homered this afternoon.
I haven't played in this park, but Rizzo, you did. You know, great park to hit in, right?
Great park to hit in, especially for a lefty. I mean, I know the wall's high there, but when you pull the ball as a lefty, usually it's up in the air. So it feels like it just never comes down here.
Ewing's 5th of the year, or TikTok play of the game, came back in that 4-run second for New York.
And it's a fast infield too, so balls on the ground get through if it's not at someone. Always loved coming to Atlanta and playing here and Turner Field.
Well, when this place first was opened in 2017, I remember the first month of games here, and collectively we were all like, wow, this is just going to be a bandbox, because balls were jumping into the chop house windows. It was really going to right field in particular.
I hit a ball to dead center here that just kept going. Off the bat, I was like, he's going to catch it at the track or something. It just kept going over, almost hit the waterfall. And I'm running around the base like, man, that just kept going. It's a great place to hit.
One gone as Ewing strikes out. And now Luis Torrens. Well, they did it right here. Hosted last year's All-Star game. Of course, the Battery is a super popular destination.
They got everything over here. I mean, you can look around. They're still building around and trying to add more rooms, more hotels, more apartments, more condos. I mean, the Braves did a great job with this thing.
On the ground is shortstop, and Mateo takes care of Torrens for out number 2.
MLB and T-Mobile offer you a chance to win trips to all 30 stadiums. The views, the food, the vibe. Begin your journey to 30. Enter now.
You know, we kind of forget that the Mets took 2 out of 3 from Atlanta earlier this season. But unfortunately for them, it came at a time when the New York Knicks were wrapping up an NBA title. So the folks in the Big Apple didn't really care what was going on at that time in terms of baseball, understandably.
That might have been nice for the Mets at the time, too, because they hadn't been playing very well. All the focus was on the Knicks. I have to admit, I got caught up in the Knicks fever, went to some games, including one of the finals games. It was at the Parade, and quite exciting for the city.
On the ground and through into right field. Yeah, I mean, it was possibly the best weekend that the Mets have had all year. Yeah. And it got kind of obscured by the Knicks, unfortunately.
Well, the Knicks had a pretty good 5 months, so deservingly so. But Mets are trying to find their way to get some more of those kind of weekends. They're more a little few and far between right now.
Beatty aboard on a 2-out single. His second hit of the ball game, and it's back to the top of the order. Francisco Lindor, who has been on base twice and scored a couple of runs today.
Yeah, we talked about the Mets earlier. You know, on paper, great team. You know, I mean, they have the talent, they got the tools. It just didn't put everything together to have a good start or anything else. So it's tough to, you know, judge people on that. You know.
Strike call to Lindor. It's 0-1. And as you guys both know, Andrew, you playing across town for the Yankees, and Todd, your time as a Yankee and a Met, things get made bigger sometimes because it's New York. Things get blown out of proportion a little bit.
No doubt about that. I mean, you know, I have heard about it. I mean, I didn't go to New York as a superstar player or a player that was playing every day. I was more like a platoon, pick up somebody when I needed a day off or face a tough lefty. But you know, I didn't feel that pressure of him. You know, I mean, like what everybody say with the media and stuff like that. And sometimes you just don't let those things bother you. You know, you've been playing this game for so long. You know what to do. You need just to keep your head up and keep moving forward and trying to get better.
Agreed, and I think New York sometimes gets a reputation of being unfairly hard. I think they're very knowledgeable fans. I think they want accountability more than anything else. And if you're not playing well and you avoid talking or you act like you are playing well, they're going to let you know about it. It's an honest fan group, but there's a lot of voices out there as well. I mean, a lot of media, and everybody's got an opinion, and they're not afraid to let you hear it.
You have to be professional playing in New York. Extreme accountability. And you just have to know, too, that it is bigger there. But in today's day with social media, if you make a mistake or a bonehead play, something else is going to happen within the game, and it's going to get the same amount of media coverage on social media that us young guys are used to getting our news from. So you try to just minimize it and keep the game in perspective as much as you can.
Ball forward to Lindor. Former teammates in Cleveland, Carrasco and Lindor. It results in a walk. And Jeremy Hefner's coming out for a conversation. So far, the Star-Spangled Sunday has belonged to the Mets on a day where every game on the Major League schedule is on Peacock and on NBC. So an intriguing matchup here, because not only does Juan Soto have big-time numbers in this ballpark, something that Andrew mentioned earlier today. He's had some previous experiences against Carlos Carrasco. And for a guy who's at that thumber stage of his career, Soto usually wears out guys like this. Ball to no strikes.
See if he sticks to this, but the thing that I find so impressive is in a bat like this where you know Cookie doesn't want to throw him a strike and you know Juan wants to get a big hit, he still is as patient at the plate as he is any other time. Like, he takes both of those pitches that are just nibbles, even going to be challenged, and stays within his game plan. So disciplined.
He's laughing.
Look at
Pitch is a strike.
Like, yeah, okay. You might have got me on that one.
All right. From 2-0 to 1-1 on the successful challenge by the Braves. These first pitch numbers. We got to hit that again. When he takes ball one, look at the damage, or any pitch. When he takes the first pitch of an at-bat, strike or ball.
Wow.
And then when just when you think you're going to be able to get ahead of him because he's going to take, then he ambushes you and hits one in the seats. So tough decision for a pitcher.
There's times when I play with Juan that I almost want him to get to 2 strikes. That's how dangerous he is as a hitter with 2 strikes as well. He gets ahead there. He gets ahead there. He takes the big swing. I feel like with 2 strikes, he either puts it in play or he hits a home run. It's still the same hitter. It's a generational talent.
I think that slider did something funny, though. It spun back on him. That's why he hit on the end of the bat, because he was looking for that slider to cut in on him.
And did you see the look he gave Cookie after he fouled it off? He's like, all right, what are you doing?
Lost him on ball 4. And that'll load the bases for Bo Bichette, who's got a couple of hits already today. A homer, a single, and 2 walks.
Now, this is one other interesting thing with Bo Bichette hitting behind Juan. Juan stole almost 40 bases last year. Guy threw 35-plus bases last year, and he barely gets a chance to steal because, much like the polar opposite of Juan, he swings all the time. Bo Bichette is up there to swing, and he puts the ball in play early and often. So Juan's been anchored to first base a lot more than he was last season.
Bichette's been really good in bases loaded spots this year, 4 for 11. Well hit out to center field. Harris on the move at the track, looking up. It's over his head. Beatty scores easily. So does Lindor. They throw on the brakes for Soto. It's a 2-run double for Bo Bichette. And the Mets enjoy their biggest lead of the afternoon. It's 8-3 New York.
We got that little cutter that stayed. Actually, it was tried to be a sinker. It didn't get in on him. Bo got the head out, and he scalded this ball. Michael Harris makes chase, and whenever Michael Harris makes chase, you think he's got a chance to catch it. Finally turned around and let it come off the wall.
Mark Vientos is the 8th Met to bat in the inning.
Jared Young got Jared Young.
I beg your pardon, Jared Young. Thanks for the correction, Andrew. Jared Young, who came in for Vientos defensively, and takes a ball. It's a ball and a strike.
You say, like, when it's hot, you know, I mean, that ball might have got in a little bit, but that ball was carrying when it's hot here.
That one's into the gap. That's going to score 2 more. Soto and Bichette are plated. 2 runs batted in for Young. 10-3 Mets.
Well, one of the things we talked about with Andy Green earlier today is that the Mets have had a lot of traffic and haven't been able to get the big hit to get the runs home. They're finding some clutch hits along with the traffic right now. That's a splitter from Carrasco that stays out over the plate. Jared does a good job not trying to pull that ball, just taking what he gives you, serving it into left field.
First pitch to Carson Bench, the 9th Met to bat in the inning, is going to wrap things up. Not before 5 big runs can ensure the lead. 10-3 New York.
Sunday Night Baseball. Padres, thank you very much. Dodgers, way out of here. Wow.
Every game on this Star-Spangled Sunday on Peacock and NBC, and a big one coming up tonight on Sunday Night Baseball from Chavez Ravine. Series finale between the Padres and Dodgers. Dodgers trying to become the first team to 60 wins and finish off a 4-game sweep over San Diego. A terrific regional rivalry there, which has been rather one-sided. Huascar Brazoban trying to finish things out here in this regional rivalry. The Braves have won their last 9 season series against the Mets. And in particular, games here at Truist Park have been tough for New York head-to-head, but they've got the upper hand this afternoon as Brazoban misses his first offering to Mauricio Dubon, and that's been one of the main culprits. What an afternoon for Bo Bichette.
Huascar Brazoban is another one of those bullpen arms that we've been talking about. That back 5 guys, you go Minter, Brazoban, Raley, Weaver, and Devin Williams, all desired commodities. Brazoban in the last year of his contract, and he's been outstanding for the Mets. He's got electric stuff, and he's really found his ability to pinpoint that fastball changeup combination, throw a lot of strikes, and let his stuff do the work.
Ball and 2 strikes on Dubon. High fly ball out to shallow left. It's going to drop in. There's a little bit of a shadow. The ball coming out of home plate with a little shadow behind it. I'm not sure if that kind of crossed up Tyrone Taylor on the jump or if it was just in the right spot.
Tyrone was playing very deep. For me, I mean, Tyrone plays a lot of center field, and he's used to roaming out there, but seemingly he's a little deep, keeping the ball from getting behind him.
Looks like Lindor just got a tough jump on it. Maybe didn't see it so good off the bat because he kind of hesitated before he went out there. Lindor is one of the best in the game at shortstop, so very rare you see him misplay a ball like that.
Counts 0-1 on Dom Smith. Well, last night in this series, it was a rough outfield evening for Taylor. Rough outfield evening for everybody. Tyrone in center yesterday. Some miscommunication with Lindor. There's a bouncing ball that gets through Beatty into right field. Dubon to third.
That one's not gone through right there. I thought he was going to make a great play right there, but
Brazoban generates a lot of ground balls with that sinker changeup combo. The defense on the infield. When Simeon was over there, got limited range, but very, very sure-handed, able to get it out of a lot of jams with the ground ball.
So the two balls in play against Brazoban at 72 and 71 miles an hour, and that's kind of what he does, limiting hard contact. He's got the lowest opponent's exit velo among qualifiers, the lowest, one spot ahead of the superhuman Padre reliever Mason Miller. Oh boy, a check-in throw at first base that Young wasn't ready for. That's going to score a run. Error will be charged to Brazoban. And what we have here is a failure to communicate.
That's exactly what we have here. Yeah, I think Lindor's just calming him down a little bit. First and third, the lead that they have. Jared Young was playing behind the runner. I think Brazoban thought he was at first base. He clearly wasn't. He's looking at Terens like maybe he thought Terens gave him a signal to try to pick right there. Now it's time to regroup, go back to it. That's what Lindor's telling him. Hey, get back to what you do.
Riley lines to center field, a base hit. Smith being held at third. Still nobody out.
I think it was just bad communication. I think they didn't tell him, hey, timeout, hey, I'm going to be playing behind you. And then he felt like, did the runner jump? He felt like that little jump, he was going to pick him up.
I'd have seen it in the corner of his eye.
You know, that 5-run inning that we just watched in the top of the ninth felt like it was just window dressing. Maybe it was more important than we thought, because here come the Braves, nobody out, a run in, runners at the corners. And the way this inning is trending, you know, the big boys might have another chance to swing the bat here in the bottom of the ninth inning.
That's one thing with the Braves, man. They fight all the way to the end. Even if they down that many runs, they just continue to just put good at bats together and, you know, just keep chipping.
Well, the top of the ninth inning proves to be important as well for the Mets. Adding some insurance runs, 5 insurance runs, to widen that gap, give them a little breather right now.
So here's Eli White for a second time. Came on to pinch hit for Mike Yastrzemski in the 7th. Rare that the team that commits more errors enjoys a big late lead, but that's the case today for New York. They've committed 3 errors this afternoon en route to a 10-4 advantage.
Andrew and Todd, how's facing 98 up 7 or down 7? You guys remember facing that when you played? It's the whole league now.
You're right about that. I mean, it's tough, but back then, you know, like the closers are the ones that come up with that 97, 99. So when you see the closer come in, obviously, you know, he's the closer for the Mets, right?
Well, Brazo he can be a chameleon. I mean, Devin Williams has been closing most of this season. Brazoban can pitch as an opener, can pitch in middle innings, can pitch in high leverage innings. He's a guy that's been very reliable for him, and he's still under team control right now as a 2+ player, so he's got some value.
Full count to White, 3-2. You just saw Devin Williams stirring in the Mets bullpen. That's territory that Andy Green really didn't want to get into, starting this inning with a 7-run lead. Full count pitch, and the bases are loaded with nobody out. Here comes pitching coach Justin Willard. How much canvas do you give Brasaban here?
I think you give him a little bit, but once you get Devin started, then
you got to bring him in.
If it gets trouble at all, you got to go to Devin at this point. I think Justin's just trying to get him off thinking about the errored throw and the too soft, the too soft base hits. It feels like things are not going your way, but sometimes you got to shake yourself and get back to just thinking about the hitter at hand, and that's what Brasaban's got to do. He's got the ability to get a strikeout when he needs it and get a ground ball and get out of this inning with just a handful of pitches, but he's got to get his focus back on home plate and what Torrens is trying to make him do.
As a hitter, sometimes in these positions, I feel like maybe Brasaban was checked out. The team was up 2 going into the 9th, and they score a bunch of runs, so then he has to get going real quick. So I used to say, oh man, he wasn't locked in. So that's the mentality I used to take to the plate, trying to trick myself that I was better than the guy throwing 98 with sink.
Well, there are guys like that too that, they can't get really locked in unless it's a game save situation, close and late. It's not always as easy as you think to pitch with a big, huge lead like this.
Well, majority of those guys, though, when they come in, they're kind of like, hey, I need to get an inning in or get some outs. They get hit because they kind of just leave. They're not focused on leaving balls over the plate.
Strike. Atlanta's out of challenges.
Another one that will add to the Braves' league worst ABS challenge ranking as they lose their final opportunity. 0-2 to Mateo. And that's the first out for Brasaban.
Just as I was saying, I think Willard just wanted to settle him down, get him locked back in. Then he throws 3 nasty strikes, 99 at the knees for the called strike, and then paints on the outside corner right here. That's a tough pitch.
So bases loaded with 1 away now. Back to the top of the order, Drake Baldwin. Served into the opposite field with some run on it. Taylor back, and it's gone! And nobody on base knows it.
Wow, Drake almost passed White on the bases right there.
White almost did a mistake. He did a mistake a long time ago. Went back, he thought the guy caught the ball, and he almost caused some problem right there.
A grand slam. Eli White thought that it was caught. The Mets want to take a look at it again. I'm not sure what there is to look at. I think we saw the ball get over the fence.
And I think we saw Drake Baldwin stop in time, didn't pass Eli White. You see that Taylor goes up with it, and sometimes the guys will deke right there, just barely miss it. Sometimes the guys will come down with it and deke. You might be able to get yourself out of the inning with a double play, but not the case.
Drake Baldwin has turned into an absolute animal with the bases loaded. He is now 10 for 17 with the sacks full. After that, his first career grand slam. This was a 10-3 game about 10 minutes ago. And the Braves now have the tying run in the on-deck circle, and here's the kind of mad dash on the base paths when Eli White kind of lost track of where the baseball ended up.
The umpire at second base is messed up, though. He should be waving his finger up in the air too and saying, hey, it's a home run. He dig Eli right there, but hey, you got to watch the game.
This is unbelievable. We got a 2-run game all of a sudden.
That was reminiscent, Andrew, of one of the games you were talking about earlier in '99, the famous grand single. Although it was intentional that Todd Pratt went and hugged Robin Ventura, but same kind of thing could have happened right there if they end up crisscrossing.
Devin Williams was not thinking he was going to get into this game when it was 10-3 about 10 minutes ago, but here he is.
And Devin's been very good, but this is one of those situations that we were just talking about. He's not expecting to be in this game. Brasaban's been locked down nails all season long. 7-run lead. He figured his day was over, and then he's got to get ready quick, and he's got to dial up the intensity as well, thinking that this game was going to be over. Now you're in it with only a 2-run lead in a safe situation, time to go to work.
Well, I'm sure his shoes was undone when they win in that 9th inning, and now he's got to tie it up and trying to close this game out with the Mets.
The numbers against the signature changeup pitch he has referred to as his air bender, and they're trending in the wrong direction for Devin. They'll get Ozzie Albies and then Matt Olson. The tying run stands in the on-deck circle with only 1 away. A 5-run bottom of the 9th so far. 5 in the top for the Mets. The Braves counter with 5, and it's back to a 2-run game. Albies a little early, falling behind 0-2 now.
One question this also brings up in my mind is why Walt Weiss decided to go with Cookie Carrasco in that 8th and 9th and seemingly allow him to stay out there and let the Mets build the lead when it was only a 2-run game at that point.
Ozzie a little early again.
I mean, there's probably a lot of stuff. Probably, you know, knowing that they're playing tomorrow, then from tomorrow they're going to go to Pittsburgh. I think they just got a kind of tough schedule going. You just don't know really what's all they got going on. You know what I mean?
Braves have been doing this kind of thing all year, tied for a share of the league lead and comeback wins. Still 0-2 to Albies, and still fouling off changeup. That was a 4-seamer that time that he was early on. So only once in franchise history have the Atlanta Braves come back from a deficit of 7 or more runs in the 9th inning to win a game, and that was in May of 1994. This would be one for the ages. Still some room to go, though. They beat the Phillies on that day. They needed extra innings to do it, but entered the 9th trailing by 7. The next 0-2 pitch. And Ozzie will do this all day.
Especially this year, you know, like strike zones are down. You know, he's trying to make contacts, trying to put the ball in play, make things happen.
Boy, how about Drake Baldwin? No sophomore slump here. 1-2. He is 10 for 17 with the bases loaded. And Ozzie swings and misses. 2 gone here in the 9th.
Ozzie was fouling off everything. Devin finally goes to the 4-seamer, gets one just past his bat. When you get against a guy like Devin Williams, and specifically Devin Williams with that air bender, you got to protect against it, and once in a while that allow him to sneak that fastball by you.
Matt Olson in the midst of a hitless afternoon, 0 for 4 today and falling behind 0-1. (10-3) entering the bottom of the 9th. And as we can do a cross-sport comparison here, Todd, as Chick Hearn used to say, the eggs are cool and the butter's getting hard. This one's in the refrigerator. Well, not so much. The door cracked open here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Yeah, you called it from the beginning. This is a while with the delay, so it's trending that way.
Crazy stuff. That rain delay got us off to such a weird start. A ball and a strike to Olson. Into the right field corner. Olson on his way into second. And the tying run has a chance at the plate now.
Matt Olson is a double machine, man. He just double after double after double, and then when you leave it up in the strike zone, it's like a homer.
He's consistent, and he's done damage against the Mets. Ever since he put on that Braves uniform, he's always come up big against the Mets. Now Devin needs to find a way to work around Michael Harris and get this game saved. Mets are holding on.
Games like this don't come around very often. First one since 2019 where each team scores 5 in the top and bottom of the 9th. Michael Harris now.
Well, we talked about the odd game. All the Mets runs scored the first 2, those first 5, and then like they took the middle innings off, and then for both teams, and all the scoring's been in the 9th now, 5 for each.
Olsen at second with 2 gone, and Harris behind 0-2. The Braves down to their final strike today.
Good change up right there down the zone.
Riz, is there any advantage right now with the shadows just creeping in? Well, we've never played at this ballpark. Shadows a factor right now with Devin and that airbender?
Oh, absolutely. It is so hard to see with the shadows going from light to dark. You don't know if it's a fastball or changeup, and he throws an amazing changeup, one of the best in the game.
And that one gets away at the plate. Free 90 feet for Olsen.
He was trying to be too perfect with that changeup. He bounced it. All he had to do was just throw the same thing that he did the last time, and he would have a swing and a miss off a weak ground ball.
Talked about how the Braves haven't had a comeback like this. Only one in franchise history. It was back in '94. No team has come back to win trailing by 9 entering the 9th since the 2000 season. Harris with a chopper to first. Young to Williams. Not in time! Olsen scores the tying runs at first base.
Oh no, he's safe. Not challenging, he's safe.
Devin being so deliberate about finding that bag. Harris hustling all the way, beats him to the bag.
What a terrific look at that.
Wow.
In super duper slow-mo.
Wow. Great hustle by Merritt. This is wow.
Mauricio Dubon with an opportunity now. Tying run on base with 2 away.
I already talked about how clutch he's been, and Walt Weiss wants him up in these situations.
A 6-run bottom of the 9th.
This is wow.
The 1-0 from Williams. Dubon lines it into left. Harris going to try for third. No play there. The winning runs at second. The tying at third with 2 out in the 9th.
That's a bad move by the left fielder right there. You got to be a little bit smarter. You know you're not going to get him at third base. You got to keep that man at first base and throw the ball to second base and keep that winning run from not being in score position.
No, you're right, Andrew. He caught that ball so deep. He's playing deep for no doubles, so by the time he got to it, he didn't have a chance. Michael Harris turned it on, knew he was going to beat that throw to third base. Could have kept the winning run off of second.
Remember how we were talking about baseball ironies? How about this? The longtime Met, former first-rounder Dom Smith has a chance to finish what would be an epic comeback for Atlanta.
Wow. I mean, all I can see is wow.
A ball and no strikes to Smith. To 2-0 now.
Well, I was a part of the Mets team 25 years ago that had a 9-run 8th inning against the Braves at Shea Stadium, and maybe them waiting for revenge.
Wow. And Brian Snitker here to witness all of it. You can't sneak in with sunglasses on, Snit. 2 balls and a strike.
such a veteran take right there by Dom. He could easily try to do too much and end the game and try to hit a home run or be the hero, but he stays within his approach to let the game come to him. Veteran player.
2-2. Once again, the Braves are down to their final strike.
Dom had an opportunity against the Mets earlier in the season in a similar situation, and he used that 5-6 hole. He's able to shoot that hole when he stays patient. Wouldn't be surprised to see him try to do that to stay on that air bender. Big hole between third and short.
2-2 pitch. Got him. And not without a ton of ninth inning drama do the New York Mets hold on. They entered the last of the ninth up by 7. They end up with a 1-run win to get their first victory of the series. 10-9 New York, the final score. And as they might be saying in the visiting dugouts, Todd, we had them all along.
Yeah, you know what? Nobody's going to say that this wasn't interesting between the rain delay, the early scoring, the quality pitching in the middle of the game, and then some timely hits from both teams at the end. Here's that air bender that starts middle in, just drops off the table. Dom waving at it, and what we talked about with the shadows, that looks like a fastball coming at you when you're at the batter's box. Drops off the table and not able to catch up with it.
On a night, a day, almost turned into a night, where there were 19 runs scored, Andrew. All of them came in the first, second, and ninth.
I mean, both teams, I mean, they started, like you say, it was a weird start, rain delayed, you know,